Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to Birds 365, your daily deep dive into the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Zander, Krause, joined by my co-host, Eagles Insider, the number one beat reporter in town, John McMullen, as we bring you the latest news, insights, and everything you need to know to stay connected to the Birds. Johnny Mac, Tuesday after a big win, Birds moved to 4-2.
A good record. It's a good record.
And getting closer to the top of that NFC East. Commanders moved to 5-2 with a trouncing victory over the Panthers. Not much to take away from that for them, but right there in contention, Johnny Mac, as we move through the week here and prepare for the upcoming Bengals game. Where's your mind sitting on this Tuesday morning after you get out of Overreaction Monday? You stop listening to me tell you it's ball.
Well, I got a concussion. I'm in the concussion protocol for banging my head against the wall.
Yeah.
By the way, somebody will be upset by that.
No, that's all right. Don't worry.
I'm joking, but today's coordinator day, so we got one more day to mix it around. But then it's on to Cincinnati. That's where I am. I'm already on to Cincinnati, to use Bill Belichick's. They did. Hey, all credit goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Put up the pen, knock them down. But I'm not going to overreact to the actual style points of beating just a pathetic football team that, the snowball started going down the hill. And as we say, all games have personalities. Like for example, I saw a bunch of people in my I put up the snap counts every week. The next morning, and Jordan Davis didn't play a lot because he plays in 5-man fronts mainly, and I think he played in 12 reps. They couldn't run the ball. They ran the ball 4 times for 3 yards in the first half. Then they're behind. The Eagles were in 4-man fronts the entire game. Then they stopped playing their starters the entire fourth quarter. I mean, a lot of this stuff is self-explanatory. But you pick up the box score and people lose their mind. He's the 13th pick of the draft. He's playing 12 snaps. Again, throw it out. Throw it out. You're muted, Zander.
How do you quantify that though, John? Because I get what you're saying. It's self-explanatory, but the reality is he is the 13th pick, and if he's not going to be on the field that much, are they going to value him enough?
Well, that's a legitimate conversation. That's a legitimate conversation. Is a part-time player at number 13, is that enough value? That I'll listen to. The fact that he didn't play in that game, it's obvious why he didn't play in that game. It had nothing to do if they could run the ball a modicum, he'd be out there. If they weren't always dropping back to pass, he'd be out there. If they weren't sitting their starters in the fourth quarter, he'd be out there. That's what I'm that point of it is ludicrous to even lose one wink of sleep over.
I do think the Jordan Davis conversation is interesting because, you told me all the time. You told me yesterday you were beating your head on the wall because I'm trying to go back to the 1960s era of football and run the
75.
Football.
I gave you 75.
Whatever it is. Jordan Davis, if he's only good against the run, how much will how we value that? I don't know. I don't know if he gets extended. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah. Look, I think it's legitimate to question whether you need more from a player who was picked that highly in the draft. I have no problem with that. I mean, I said that from day one. I said, I don't think people are going to get this pick from day one. Jody can tell you that.
Yeah. I remember. I was producing the show. I remember.
It was, it's because he's not a numbers guy. He's never going to be a numbers guy. And it's going to be tough to explain to people his value to the team. But his value to the team is pretty significant. Again, when they need it. And against the New York Giants, they didn't need it. So he wasn't out there. And it's it's legitimate to say, should you take a role player that high in the draft? That I agree with. That part is legitimate criticism. So
yeah, we'll see what they end up doing there. John, I will say this about the Eagles' win on Sunday. It was a complete game, and I think their most dominating performance. I know that the opponent was lesser, but there was a lot of talk about they haven't beat a team by double digits and however many long, which I always thought was kind of a stupid argument. It's the NFL. There's going to be tight games, but I thought it was their most complete performance on both sides of the ball. Another step toward the direction that this team wants to go. You know, I kept saying yesterday on the afternoon show, I don't view this like linear. Keep getting better each week.
Jordan Davis, he said
To
linear.
to
Football's
your
not
repertoire.
linear. He said that last week.
Yeah, well,
Football
keep adding
is
something
not
to your
linear.
repertoire, and by after Thanksgiving, you hope that you're in your best form, or at least getting closer to your best version of it, playing your best football. And I thought Sunday was a significant step toward that direction.
I'm not going to go that far, but again, you know, they got a batting practice fastball and they hit it out of the park. I don't know if the ace shows up, if it means anything, if you get my drift.
Yeah, I do. I get it.
They got a batting practice fastball and they hit it 500 feet. That's all, by the way. But I don't think it translates much. You're going to have to play differently. You're going to have to execute differently to beat a more competent opponent on a particular day. And the Giants aren't always that bad. People are like, well, they beat the Seahawks. But well, Andrew, you know, if Andrew Thomas is healthy and playing, it's probably a little bit more difficult right off the bat. You know, on that particular day, they were not a competent opponent, and the Eagles took advantage of it. I don't know why that so many people consider that an insult. You get a batting practice fastball, hit it out of the park. A lot of guys foul it off. You know, they don't take advantage of it. And the Eagles did it the week prior against a lesser foe and struggled and managed to get the win. So all of that is positive. But yeah, I'm not. And I asked Nick specifically about the identity thing, and he went exactly where I knew he would go, but I wanted other people to hear it. It's not identity game. It's a statement game. Not an identity game, a statement game. You said, all right, this team's bullshit. We're going to blow them off the field.
Right.
That's a statement. It's not, we're going to do this every week. That's not possible.
Nor does it seem to be their plan to do that, John. We're going to talk about some individual players today that we didn't talk about. We didn't have as much time yesterday as you'd like when you have two guests. It's hard because I had so much stuff I wanted to talk to you about yesterday. So we'll get into that today. And then coming up in hour number 2, everybody, we'll have the great Les Bowen. Can't wait to talk to Les. He always gives it to us straight and gives us his honest opinions on the football team. So we'll see what Les has to say. Looking forward to talking to Les in hour number 2. Appreciate everybody in the chat this morning. Jimmy and Martine. Appreciate you guys. Yale, Slagger, Jeff Martin. Good to see everybody. Mr. Perez. Appreciate all of you guys. Anybody I missed, I didn't mean to miss you, but I appreciate you being here. John, the first 2 players I want to talk about today, and it would be easy to go to the pass rush and talk about the 8 sacks and Nakobe Dean. I want to talk about the 2 rookies, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, who both seem, at least the early returns, seem as though they are, I don't want to call them home run picks, but they're close to it. Quinyon Mitchell, you could argue, is a home run pick, and Cooper DeJean is looking the part, at least when he's on the football field. What did you see from them yesterday in the win over the Giants, or 2 days ago? Sorry.
Yeah, Cooper specifically was great. When I rewatched the game, he was just off the charts good. And I didn't see that coming, to be honest. I thought there'd be a lot of hiccups, and he was really good in the Cleveland game as well. So, and Quinyon's just been solid from day one. I mean, I don't think he had his best game from a standpoint of you couldn't tell, but he didn't have a great tackling game. I know he was the only Eagle that had like a bad tackling grade. Um, so it wasn't his best performance, but like his worst performance is better than most rookies at the cornerback position. So I have no worries about Quinyon Mitchell long term. But I'm really surprised at Cooper DeJean and how quickly he's taken to the slot. And again, you know, there's going to be tougher tests ahead starting this week with Joe Burrow. And it might not look as smooth, but boy, he was really good. He was PFF had him as the best player on the Eagles defense, and everybody got good grades basically. And he was the best. And
Wow.
that's how, well, Sidney was the best. Sidney Brown was the best, but he only played 9 snaps. Of the
Yeah, I
guys
was
who
going to say he
played,
wasn't out there too much.
no, of the guys who played significant snaps, Cooper was number 1, and by a pretty significant margin. And he did. You could see it on. He was really good. He was really good, and that is a big positive because let's be honest, Avonte Maddox has not been playing well. Had not been
Yeah.
playing well. So all of a sudden, you're getting really good work in the slot. Now, again, there's been no test yet. It's been struggling Deshaun Watson, who is now out, obviously, and Daniel Jones with a struggling Giants offense. So, you know, this will be the first big test from a quarterback standpoint, even though Cincinnati's got plenty of issues, but Joe Burrow's pretty good. So it'll get more difficult, but early on, it's been very impressive for Cooper.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, I'll give you a stat on Quinyon Mitchell in a second, which is pretty impressive. But I'll ask you this real quick, John. I know Britton Covey's good at returning punts and all, but when he gets healthy, are they
Yeah,
going
he's
to
good
take
punt
Cooper
returner,
out? Because
too.
Cooper looks like he's a different level. He provides a
Yeah, he's
different type of upside at that spot.
we were talking about it last week because, you know, let's be honest, he gets pigeonholed because he's a white guy. People don't know how athletic he is.
Oh, he is tremendously athletic, and you can really see it on the punt
Yeah.
returns, John.
Yeah, you know, I don't think they'll go that way because, you know, he's a starting defensive player and they probably
Right.
don't want to put all that on his plate, but they're doing it now. And if they're doing it now, would they consider it? Yeah, I think they'll consider keeping him as the punt returner. And I think boy, I love Britton Covey as a person, and he's so honest. So as a reporter, you have so much respect for that. But sometimes I think he gets himself in trouble by being too honest. And I think, unfortunately, and if you're listening, Howie, unfortunately, you know, sometimes he gets in trouble, and that's bullshit. But that's the reality of the NFL and the modern world.
Did he say something recently that got him in trouble? I miss it.
Well, not publicly, but he was a little bit too honest with his injury, and the Eagles don't like that. I'll just say that, which is bullshit. And by the way, it was already out there. You know, I forget who reported it first, if it was Ian or it was already out there. And he's talking to us about his injury, and some people got upset about it. It's so stupid, but. Anyway, I digress. I shouldn't
Yeah,
go
well, I
down.
like Covey, but I don't know if they're comfortable keeping their starting slot corner, which maybe they're not. At punt return, he seems
Well,
he's
I don't
pretty
think
electric
I don't
back
think
there, John.
their history says they don't want to do that.
Yeah, right. I would
Um,
agree.
so I don't think they're going to do that. And I hear what you're saying because he's a better athlete than most people on the planet.
Yeah.
So he's a better athlete than Britton, but Britton's a good athlete as well. And look, Britton was the best punt returner in football last season over a large sample size. You know, this is a very small sample size. So I think they're going to go back to Britton, but you at least have to mull it over if you're comfortable doing it. But part of it is he's going to be the starting slot corner, and I don't think they want him risking injury on punt returns if they don't need him. Right now, they need him. Unless you want to stick Jahan Dotson back there, who doesn't have a lot of experience doing it. He takes reps at practice. That's why I bring him up. Anais Smith, you could activate him, but boy, man, would you trust him after that training camp and dropping everything? I don't know if they want to go down that route, but obviously they trust Britton, and then they can go back to because Cooper's going to have some issues at slot, and I think they want him to concentrate on that. So my guess would be they'd go back to Britton.
Yeah, and he's doing pretty good in there, and we'll see how he continues to develop. John, I want to talk to you about Quinyon Mitchell now. We just referenced him a little bit, but here's a stat for you, and make of it what you will, and maybe you can tell me it's BS, but it's pretty impressive. Eagles rookie cornerback Quinyon Mitchell leads all 28 defensive backs who have been targeted at least 33 times this season in passer rating allowed. So in other words, when they're targeting him, the passer rating's pretty low, and he looks really good. I mean, I know he hasn't been perfect, but for a rookie corner, he looks like he's going to be a bona fide cornerback one for a long time in this league. I'm pretty damn impressed with Quinyon Mitchell. Am I overreacting, Johnny Mac?
No, you should be impressed. I did see that, and Joe Banner chimed into that. Joe trying to create trouble. Saying two teams wouldn't agree with that because somebody had tweeted, how meaningful it was. He's been really good, but it hasn't been all peaches and cream, but it shouldn't be. I have no questions about Quinyon Mitchell long-term. But first of all, people are targeting him for a reason. They don't want to go after Slay. So I know people don't get that. They don't believe that. They don't, so, people are still comfortable doing it. And, hopefully that changes as time goes on. But as a rookie player, I don't have any issues with Quinyon Mitchell. It's been a great pick. But I don't think, people are citing that. I don't think he's one of the best corners in the NFL yet. I think those people are jumping the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think as a rookie, he's done a tremendous, tremendous job.
Yeah, I mean, he's on a fast track. Here's some stats from Quinyon Mitchell. 48.3 completion percentage allowed, 14 receptions on 29 targets, 197 yards allowed, 155 in the air, 42 yard after catch, 0 touchdowns allowed, 70.6 QB rating when targeted, 6 passes defended, 24 tackles, 2 missed tackles, and 97% of snaps played. So pretty good start to his career. Good to see. Eagles drafted a hopefully a bona fide cornerback one in the draft, and he so far is as advertised. Johnny Mac. John, I want to talk to you about Vic Fangio now. Vic Fangio has been bringing some pressure in the last couple of weeks. Do you think that will be a trend he sticks to, especially when you look at the personnel he has, namely guys like Nakobe Dean, who has deficiencies, but clearly is a good downhill player and has the ability to blitz. Do you think Vic Fangio will stick to that more aggressive style, still his scheme, but a little bit more of an aggressive style of it? Do you think he'll stick to that? Because I think we've seen that in the last couple of weeks. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I'm sure you could pull them. Looks more aggressive to me. Is that just the product of playing Daniel Jones? Or will he stick to that?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was thinking, but
yeah, I mean, Vic's not the guy who's gonna consistently do something like every week. I mean, that's the whole point of it. Don't be the same every week, because then people pick up on trends and things like that. But, their blitz rate is right where it always is with Vic Fangio long term. They've actually gone down, believe it or not, over the last 2 weeks. They were 22%.
Really?
Yeah, they were 22%. I'm looking at now, they're at 20.5%. So, Yeah, a lot of it I think is visual in the fact that, sometimes it's a Dom Capers zone blitz. So sometimes he's only remember what a blitz is. It's sending extra rushers.
Right.
So if you see, you saw Josh Sweat in coverage. If you see N'Kobe blitzing as somebody else dropping, it's not a blitz.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. Like there was that a viral picture of Brandon Graham covering Malik Nady.
Exactly. Brandon was out there and they both went horribly, by the way. Josh Sweat, first play of
Yeah.
the game.
First play of the game. I was going to say
Yeah,
that.
it
Yeah.
looked horrible. Brandon looked horrible, as they should. It's not, but yeah, so a lot of it looks visual. If the linebacker's coming, you say, "Oh, blitz," and sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. And even the I used to get in these semantical arguments with Jody all the time. It's like they'll call it a zone blitz, Tom Capers zone blitz, but is it a blitz really, or is it again linebackers coming, you're dropping defensive end or whomever? You're only rushing 4. Technically, that's not a blitz. It's like, why do you call big nickel with 6 defensive backs on the field? Should be a dime. All right, because that's what they call it. That's what they label it. It's pretty much the explanation. Why they call a play that isn't a blitz and call it a zone blitz, because that's what they call it. It's just a label. It's just a
I got to buy a big book of all these labelings for all this defense.
Yeah, it's just a title.
Do they have one? John, do you have one of those? Do they sell one of those things? We can give them a free
I'm sure they
right?
do. I don't.
I got to get one of them, man.
And all coaches are different, so they'll have different terminology for different things. And some won't call big nickel. Some won't call zone blitz, whatever. But yeah, and even personnel groupings, I say all the time. Well, you could call 12 personnel because 2 tight ends are on the field, and they're labeling them as tight ends, but they might be lined up as a fullback, or they might be lined up as a slot receiver. So the labeling says, "Oh, they're in 12," and people think big. They're they're going to run the ball. They might be trying to spread you out in a different way. So I think a lot of that stuff gets lost in the sauce, so to speak, as far as what teams are trying to accomplish. But yeah, believe it or not, he's actually gone down from, it was 22 point, I think 7 to 20.5 over the past couple of weeks. And they are, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams blitz less than the Eagles. That's it.
Yeah, so they're still toward the bottom of the league. But I do like what Vic has done in the last couple of weeks. I will say this. You got an interesting test coming up because you go from Deshaun Watson to Daniel Jones. Now you go to Joe Burrow, who I don't think the Bengals are a great football team or a great organization for that matter. But that's a great quarterback. And it's going to be interesting to see how Vic Fangio goes up against it. And we talked about Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean earlier. Well, here you go. You got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They're going to have a good test this week. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Eagles play this week versus the Bengals, which is now a 1 p.m. game. And they also flex that Eagles-Jaguars game out of Sunday Night Football on the 4 o'clock slot. So Johnny Mack is jumping with joy with the last couple.
Finally, the NFL helping me out. Well done, Park Avenue. Well done.
Yeah, it tells you what they think of this Birds team, though. Not a great storyline.
I think it's more to do with the opponents, but
really, did you see the game they flexed into Sunday Night Football? It's not particularly a worm burner.
Well, yeah, but one team's 5-1, and I think, although I'm not sold on them completely, most people think that's a playoff team, and Indianapolis is a game behind Houston in their division. So it's just got to do with, 2 playoff. It's too early to talk about playoffs,
Right.
but 2 playoff level teams, whereas Jacksonville has been a disaster. So I think it has more to do with Jacksonville.
I want to thank everybody for being here this morning. A reminder, the Saquon Barkley jersey giveaway is today, everybody. So get your memberships in here on JAKIB Sports. We'll be doing the giveaway. I'll be doing it right around 10 o'clock on the after hours of Birds 365 today. I got my list of members, and I'll be adding anyone that joins today before the giveaway. So get your memberships in today. Appreciate all of our members for supporting our channel. And we are I'm excited to give back a little bit to you guys today and give away a Saquon Barkley jersey after he exploded yesterday. A couple more topics on the defense here. Then when we get to our commercial break, we're going to get into what everybody always wants to talk about, John, and that's the quarterback. And we're going to talk a little quarterback. We're going to talk A.J. Brown, and we're going to talk about his comments Sunday after the game, see what Johnny Mac thinks of them, and we will do that after the commercial break. John, any other takeaways on the defense? I mean, when you look at this, I know you played the Giants, but boy, 8 sacks. Nakobe Dean's really starting to come alive a little bit. I think they're finding the role they like to use him in a little bit better. And then the other guy I'd point to that really looks like they're making progress, not just versus the Giants, is Nolan Smith. He's starting to look like he can be a viable NFL player on the edge, which is good to see from him. But any other takeaways for you on the defense? Any of those guys standing out to you?
Well, I think everybody played well pretty much against the Giants. Yeah. And I say that literally almost. Trying to pull up the grades, but I brought up the confidence aspect of it. And I think that's important for a young team because it's a very young defense. Other than Brandon, a couple guys, Darius Slay obviously being most notable, Josh Sweat to a certain degree. Very young. You talk about all the defensive linemen, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, still very young. Nolan Smith, Moro Ajomo's coming on. Even Bryce Hupp is a first time 3-down player, so to speak. But everybody played well against the Giants, and I think that gives people confidence. They haven't given up a touchdown in 9 quarters. That gives people confidence. It's all green. If you ever go to PFF, you rarely see all green. And that's not for the Eagles. That means you played pretty well. You get up to, if you're in the 90s, you get up to blue chip. Eagles didn't have anybody quite that high, but Nakobe Dean got that for his pass rush. He got a blue. That's how good he was on the pass rush. 4 pressures, 2 sacks, 2 hits. Did a tremendous job, and he had been playing poorly. So that's a big positive. CJ had a good game. He had not been playing great. Little bit of a concern with Zach Bond with the shoulder. We don't even bother asking Nick Sirianni about injuries, so we'll
It's a
get
waste
to
of
see.
a question.
It is,
Yeah.
and certainly on Zoom you can't say it, but that's you got to wait till Wednesday to see where he is, because then you got to throw probably Jeremiah Trotter Jr. into the deep end of the pool, which might not be the worst thing in the world either. See if Trot can do it in his 9 snaps. He got a good grade. Everybody got a good grade, basically, except for some of the people you would think would have gotten good grades, as is always the case. There were only 3 sort of subpar grades, and 2 of them I'm not even going to bring it up. But anyway,
I want to hear the names. Come on, I got to hear the names. Are you kidding me?
Because people are going to lose their mind. What are they looking at? Jalen Carter was down the bottom. Josh Sweat was down the bottom, and Moro Ajomo, who had been playing very well.
I could see why people would be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, well, because
what do you think goes into that? Is it not getting off blocks? Is it?
Consistent. Yeah. It's play to play. It's not,
right.
And people see 2 sacks. It's play to play. It's
Right.
play to play. Every single play is graded. It's play to play. So splash plays, again, coach is grade differently than, people are going to be enamored by 2 sacks. They're just going to be enamored by it. But that doesn't mean you played a good game necessarily.
And what was that grading? PFF?
Yeah. And on the positive end, most of it was positive. So, it's a difficult time because, Eagles fans are going to want to criticize him for that. But then Cooper played well, Milton Williams, Nakobe Dean, CJ, Zach Bond, Brandon Graham, Reed Blankenship, Darius Slay, Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff. Everybody played well. So take it for what you will.
Yep, no doubt. Let's get to a couple super chats, John, before we get to our break. Appreciate everybody being here this morning. Hit that like button on Birds 365. Can we get up to 100 plus likes during the live show? I'd like to get to at least 200 plus on the after show, and a lot of people watch our show after it's live. So appreciate anybody watching on the replay right now. Hit that like button. Let's go to a couple super chats. And Martine says, Commanders look like a problem. Daniels goes down early, and they didn't skip a beat with Mariota.
I wouldn't worry about Mariota.
Panthers, but still impressive.
They have been impressive, but I would not worry about Marcus Mariota. If he's got to play, he played well. He did. He deserves credit. But, I mean, they need Jaden Daniels back.
What was the update on Jaden? Have we gotten one?
I have not seen a significant
I think I saw
one.
he was day to day.
Yeah, it's not a significant injury. That's all I know. But I mean, they're a problem when he's on the field.
Not so much when
I think it's actually week to week, so he might miss a week or two, and obviously that will help generally. And I don't know Dan Quinn's terminology. In Eagles terminology, week to week means he's going to miss a game or two.
Right.
I assume Dan Quinn is using it the same. And if that's the case, Washington probably is going to struggle. They're playing, I believe, Chicago this week.
And we're 3 weeks away from playing them? We have the Bengals, then I think the Jags, and then I think it's the Cowboys. Then
I would guarantee he's back for that game.
Yeah, so we're 4 games out, probably like three or 3.5 weeks away from playing the Commanders.
Chicago's probably going to beat them if Marcus Mariota's out there.
Yeah, I would agree. For sure. Isn't that the game they flexed into Commanders Bears? Didn't they flex that into? Oh, they might have flexed that to the 4 o'clock window. I think that was the game that replaced us in the 4 o'clock window.
Yeah, no, that was Jaden Daniels against. Yes, it is.
It was right. Yeah, I was going to say. I thought because I remember saying the two rookies.
It was 1 versus 2. Yeah, that's why they did it, and they're not going to get it. That's what you get for flexing it, NFL. No, but thank you for doing it.
Yeah, Johnny Mac, careful what you say there. We're happy
for doing it, but they're not going to get what they wanted, which was Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
again, if Dan Quinn is using the same week to week, would indicate he's not going to play this week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Big next super chat. Big Fish Little Boat checks in. The coverage in the middle is helping the pass rush. Cooper and Nakobe, surprisingly. I watched the tape. Good stuff, Big Fish Little Boat. Johnny Mac, your response to that?
Well, Cooper's playing great. It always, rush and cover and rush. I mean, it's always paired together, always. Now, if you're asking me the first, I would go with Josh Azuadu first. I mean, he couldn't block anybody. I think that helped. But yeah, the cupboard certainly held up well, or certainly to a higher level since Cooper's been out there. No question about it.
Good stuff. Big Fish, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. Appreciate that. Next super chat from James Carver. He says, Zander, American Football Coaches Association books for definition and basic concepts are pretty good. Thank you, James. I'll check that out. And J-Mac's 100% right because some even call 2 tight ends and 1 running back 21. Yeah, I'm sure the way.
Oh yeah, coaches. Some of them, and this has always been one of my. I've never understood why new coaches come in and change the terminology of the same things versus them malleable for being, because you have to think about it. You have to teach 70 guys versus 1. So it never made a lot of sense to me, but coaches have a lot of ego. Yeah. So they're going to say, do it my way and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, when you talk about, like, I remember the first time we're using 12 and 13 around Doug Peterson. He's like, oh, Tiger, you're talking about Tiger. Like, he doesn't call it 12. He calls it, so, yeah.
Everybody's got their own naming.
I mean, most people, if you say 12, most people know what you're talking about. But as you get deeper into it, yeah, there's a lot of different names for the same things. And that's when you go all the way back to Jalen Hurts saying 95%, 95%, 90. He was talking about the terminology. He was not talking
about. Which is a pain in the ass. I mean, if you watch him, I'm not sure if anybody in our chat watched the show Quarterback or any of those things. Every time you get a glimpse at what a quarterback, I mean, you listen to some of these coaches read off the play, and you're just like,
it's
what
absurd.
the hell was that? I mean, it's like 2 sentences long of
and that's why you see the greats, Andy Reid, corn dog, bang, bang.
Yeah, you're right. Good stuff there. Next super chat, let's go to Brian. He says, Jalen Hurts just took another sack. Cooper DeJean is the apple of my eye. The tale of two halves of that super chat, Johnny Mac. Brian is not happy with the quarterback Jalen Hurts, but he likes Cooper DeJean, it appears.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have questions over what's going on with Jalen Hurts. And it's got to get better. As I said to Zander yesterday, Brian, it was, if you're talking about this stage devolving the offense, that is not good.
Yeah,
that is not good.
We're gonna have to talk.
I'm saying, look, I understand. Excuse me, got a cold, so my voice might come and go a little bit, but I get why people are saying it. But if you at this point, if you want to scale back this offense, that is not a good sign. You want to evolve it, and you want to keep getting better and better, and keep expanding it and expanding, especially with the new offensive coordinator. And if you want to scale it back, boy, that's a bad sign. You might as well start thinking. No, I'm not saying it's time. I'm not in that camp, number one. So I'm not saying it's time to move on from the quarterback or it's time to go in a different direction. But if you're one of those who believes that, then you might as well start doing your early research, because if you're scaling back at this point, you almost have to move on in 12, 16 months, whatever it would be.
They're going to be pretty hamstrung to be able to do that with the contract, but we'll see what ends up happening. And we're going to talk about Jalen Hurts coming up after the break. Looking forward to that segment. Hopefully I don't have John bashing his head against the wall for a second straight day, or he's going to be in the concussion protocol.
That's just about the running game. And even that, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't run the ball. You need to run the ball specifically. I'm talking efficiently, which the Eagles obviously did and more against the Giants. It means you can't build your offense that way week to week in the NFL. That's what that means.
I get it. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Brian Garner checks in. Brian, appreciate it. Brian says, if you can pay for NFL Plus, please do. Brian, I'm a subscriber. He says, you can see that this is a Jalen Hurts offense. He's not comfortable with the middle of the field. And then he also followed up and said, also, it seems to me that he's only comfortable throwing against cover 1 and cover 3 for the deep ball or the mesh concept. Johnny Mac, what's your takeaway on Jalen Hurts and what Brian is saying here about this being his offense and his ability to throw against different coverages?
Yeah, they're building the offense around what Jalen Hurts is comfortable with. I've said that for a while. The common denominator here isn't Nick Sirianni. It isn't Kellen Moore. It isn't Shane Steichen. It isn't Brian Johnson. They all look the same because they all come to the same conclusion. This is what Jalen Hurts does well, and they try to build around that. That's why the offense looks similar, even though Kellen's calling the plays. And yeah, it's got to evolve. And nobody's figured out, since the adjustments have been made, nobody has figured out the adjustment back to the point where people are happy. But again, I point to this. Look, the Eagles have never had a better run in their 91-year history. So they have won consistently with Jalen Hurts. And by the way, if you look up and you say 667 again, winning percentage, they're winning games. Does it look pretty? No. Is it as explosive as people want? No. Did I have to get better? Yes. Does he have to get better? Yes. But boy, that guy's a pain in the ass. 60 minutes, I always say. That's the best trait of Jalen Hurts. And you know, 3rd and 3 versus 4th and 3. 3rd and 3 looked like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. 4th and 3, he looks like the best quarterback in the NFL. That's the head scratcher with Jalen Hurts. Because normally, if you look like the worst quarterback in the NFL, you're even going to look pretty shaky on the big play. He's got this ability to leave bad plays in the rearview mirror quicker than anybody I've ever seen in my life. And he could have an entire bad game. You know, if a quarterback's having a bad game, he's having a bad game. Most quarterbacks. With Jalen, he could have a bad game for 58 minutes and beat you in the final two.
That's really true, man. He has bad series, not bad games. He always seems to find a way to make a play. And that's one of the things I do love about him. So we'll get to a commercial break. Johnny Mac, Brian, thank you for the super chat. Both Brians, James, Big Fish, and our team. Appreciate that. By the way, reminder, jersey giveaway at the end of the show today. So get your memberships in. Appreciate everybody that's a member. We'll be giving away one Saquon Barkley jersey for his explosion over his former team, the New York Giants, which he had on Sunday. What a great performance that was. Let's get to our commercial break. Appreciate everybody being here on the show. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown are the topics I have coming out of the break for Johnny Mac, and then we'll be joined by Les Bowen in hour number 2, get his takeaways from this ground and pound offense that the Eagles employed versus the New York Football Giants. Before I get to our break, let me tell you about our great friends at BetUS. You can look on your screen and you can see that promo code in big, bold print, YouTube 150. That gives you a 150% sign-up bonus on your very first deposit, and then you get 125% on your second and third deposits, all up to $2,000. So deposit less and bet with more at BetUS. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. They have the fastest payouts in the industry, 24/7 customer support, and they'll even give you your own custom account manager. So go check out them today. And a big thanks to BetUS for sponsoring this 2-hour program of Birds 365. So big thanks to them. Go check them out at betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Back in 3 minutes, everybody, on Birds 365.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid. Score and save in Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech, we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of Birds 365, a daily Eagles podcast, live 2 hours every single day here, Monday through Friday on JAKIB Sports. Appreciate all of our listeners right now. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. Johnny Mac, let's talk a little offense. And I normally go to the Super Chats at the end of the segment, but this is about the offense. So I'll start with this, and then we'll talk A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, and then talk to Les Bowen in hour number 2. James Carver checks in with a $20 Super Chat. James, big thank you, sir. He says, J-Mac, long speculated, and I think he's talking about Chris Long, on the Greenlight podcast. So long speculated on Greenlight that the script issues and thus first quarter might be Sirianni and Kellen still working to mesh their likes, your Jeffy complaint. But once off script, Kellen's offense starts kicking in. Thoughts on that? I think that's a fair point. Johnny Mac, your response to that, what Chris Long speculated there.
No, well, the first drives, which, the first quarter, you're getting off script. So, he's off script by certainly the end of the first quarter. He's usually been off script by play 2 because of what happens. But typically coming into this game, it was getting behind the sticks with a poor play. So, that kind of throws your plan out the window, whether it was penalty, Saquon slipping in Brazil, yada, yada, yada. In this particular game, the early struggles, and I remember pointing this, like Jalen was seeing phantom pressure to the point I made a joke, and God, I love you, Jaws, but if you see old Ron Jaworski highlights, he got sacked so much when he first got here, he would, crumple before the defender would get there to save himself from the hit. You saw a little bit of that from Jalen Hurts. Like he thought the pressure was there before it got there. He was to me, it was very cognizant. He knew Jordan Mailata was not out there and he was expecting pressure. And the first drive started with 11-yard pass to A.J. Brown. Then they ran it. Saquon, basically nothing. And then Jalen took a sack. And that pretty much killed that drive. Second drive, it was run to Barkley, incomplete pass, penalty, and then sack. And then the third drive, they got a little bit going past AJ. Couple runs by Saquon, get another first down. Run it to Barkley again, pass to AJ, first down again. Then it was Kenny. Then weird direct snap to Saquon, lost 3 yards, and then he was sacked again. That's your first quarter possessions. So no, I get why people think that, but no, I don't think the scripting issues before this game, it was about, as I said, getting behind the sticks, clean operation that Kellen always talks about. In this particular game, which Jalen Hurts, seeing pressure, feeling pressure before it was there, and sack, all 3 drives. So, yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with. I don't know if the scripts are great, but I don't think it had anything to do with the script.
Well, I better get that early game scoring fixed. You can't go into games versus great teams, John, and just be inept for 25% of the game. It's not going to work out
No.
well late in the year. So let's
Against
see.
certain teams, no, it's not
Yeah.
going to work.
Well, I'm talking about playoffs.
But
right?
they're very cognizant of they need to fix the issue.
Yeah, well, they're cognizant of it, but does that mean they're going to fix it? That's the
Well,
question.
a lot of it, again, I know everybody wants to blame the coaches, but a lot, and I would say in this case, more of it is on the players. Execution, no penalties. I mean, sack. Now, some of them, there was one where he's just, like I said, it wasn't even there. I mean, he just fell to the ground because he thought it was there. And that's about execution more than play scripts and things like that. And by the way, play scripts, Bill Walsh, God rest his soul, unleashed that on the world. I don't think people realize how quickly you get off script in the NFL. So most guys, because everybody's a copycat, do 15 plays. But, again, if the first two don't go the way you want, you're generally off script by play 3. And you're in your third and long or, part of your play call sheet and completely off script. So that's one I believe that's from talking mainly from Doug. Doug taught me that. That's one of the most overrated things in the NFL.
First play, John, was under center, play action, and a pass to A.J. Brown for a first down. I was licking my chops when I saw that, John.
Well, they're trying to get better at it.
Yeah,
from the consistent aspect of it, that I think they were under center more in this game, but 90. I have to go. It was all runs, basically. So yeah, I mean, they're not a traditional play, but their play action is from the pistol and the gun, which it's a different looking type of play action, but it has the same effect if you do it properly.
Good stuff, John. Let's get into this offense further with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. The first thing I want to talk about is A.J. Brown and the comment. And you brought it up yesterday, and it kind of went over my head. Not over my head. I just didn't think to respond to it. But, I saw it floating around on social media. And as you point out, why they're never going to be a running team. A.J. Brown after the game. I'm happy guys are running the ball, but we want the ball too. Now, he said it jokingly. I know he was smiling. Yeah. I get it. He said it as a joke.
By the way, he got the ball.
There's truth in every joke, John McMullen.
No, there isn't. There's a lot. No, there isn't.
Yes,
there's a lot of no. Well, as a fan of comedy, no, there isn't. There's not truth in every joke. Sometimes you're just joking to joke. But in this case, there is truth to it. I'm not disagreeing.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. And boy, why? First of all, you want to do everything well, as I pointed out. Nobody's saying they shouldn't run the ball. I always talk about margin of error.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you're a leader of a team, A.J. Brown. He's crying about the targets already. And I know he was being somewhat kidding, but dude, you just blew a team off the page by 25 points.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When I brought it up yesterday, I said I shouldn't even bring it up.
Well, it was going around everywhere. I was going to see it eventually. And by the way, I don't like it. Now, I think it's a stupid comment. Your teammate who just ran all over his former team had a tremendous day, probably feeling really good about himself. And A.J. Brown's up there calling for more throws to the wide receivers. That's diva.
Well,
that's diva mentality, John. That's not
AJ. That's now. Hey, Dan Cilio. He's being Cilioized.
No, I'm not. That's a dumb
AJ
comment.
Brown is the least diva wide receiver you're ever going to see, as far as work ethic, as far as all that stuff. I mean, it's just dumb to call AJ Brown a diva when there's so many divas in every wide receiver. Has he had his problems on social media? We joke about it all the time. He wishes he can get off. He can't get off. A generation of people. He gets off for a while and then he gets back on. It's very hard to do. He was joking. He was laughing about it. He himself got targeted. It was everybody else who didn't get targeted. It's like the same thing with the thing going on with Saquon, and they had them mic'd up where Nick Sirianni talked to him about, hey, I'm going to bench the guys, and everybody loves that he said, no, I don't care. And by the way, that's the thing I love about Saquon. He doesn't care about shit like that. And he is a
AJ
leader.
certainly does.
Well, no, from the standpoint of, look, Saquon leads the league in rushing. Saquon, whatever, is he leading the league? I don't know if Derrick Henry. I don't know who's leading the league because I don't pay attention, to be honest. But he's producing at a very high level. If he's getting the football 5 times a game, he would not be happy. He's getting the football a lot. He's producing a lot. He's happy. And that's nothing against AJ. That's human nature. Nothing against Saquon. That's human nature. I mean, do you think he'd be happy if he was running the football 5 times? Of course not.
If the team's beating teams by 25 points, you would hope the team captain
he
would
would
be all
not
right
be
with
happy.
Yeah,
of course
I know
not. And by the
wouldn't.
way,
that's part of the reason that playing running football is laughed off the page, because all these dudes want their targets and they care more about that than they care about the winning as a team. And that's the modern NFL.
AJ's targets weren't a problem. Again, five receptions is equating, to 20 rushes. I mean, that's a lot. Maybe not for AJ, but it's significant. That's fine. Everybody else was the problem. They only threw it 14 times. Not a problem in the game, obviously. But the point I bring up, the way people take things, you can't control it. He was joking. I could say he was joking. He was joking, but there is a grain of truth to it, in that nobody's going to be happy if they throw it 14 times a game the rest of the season. Why it's not feasible. Hey, you're not going to win games. You got to play the Giants every week, number one. But number two, even if it was feasible and you could beat everybody the same exact way, yeah, then they wouldn't be happy. That part of it is true. That part of it's not. You think Devontae Smith is going to be happy getting 2 targets, whatever the hell it was? I mean, come on. And
no, I know he's not.
Devontae Smith is one of the least diva wide receivers, and even less than AJ. Doesn't say anything.
I can only imagine what AJ would have said yesterday or after the game if he got what Devontae got on Sunday.
He wouldn't have said anything.
Oh, I'm sure he wouldn't have. John, yes, he would have. He clearly has pointed all signs to being that type of player. Everybody in the chat thinks I'm crazy. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to I don't like the comment. I think it's a stupid comment, especially considering the circumstances.
It's a flippant comment. It's stupid because, you know what? I will agree with you. It's a stupid comment because you're allowing people to take it in their stupid directions. No offense to you. That's why it's a stupid comment.
That's stupid, but when they're
in the case of Saquon, everybody loves. I forget who pointed out, and I would have given him credit. What is he going to say? Oh no, I want to go back in there. Oh no, he's smart. Saquon's savvy. Plus, he doesn't care. That's part of it as well. But what if you sit there and say, no, I don't want Will Shipley to get in there. I want to break this record. You look like an asshole. So it kind of works both ways if you want to take that baton and say the obvious stuff. The obvious stuff, and this is another reason why, because AJ is very truthful. And again, I talked about it with Britt and Covey. That's what as a reporter, that's what I love about players. That's why I like players. And that's why I like AJ and Lane and Brandon and Britt and Covey and all those guys who tell the truth. He's telling the truth and he's getting penalized for telling the truth. If you want to penalize him for telling the truth, feel free. I don't think he's a diva. First of all, he works harder than everybody on the freaking planet. That doesn't strike me as a diva.
Well, that doesn't make you not a diva working hard. Good. You're making $30 million. I'm happy to hear that you're working
hard. Well, not
hard
everybody does it.
Receiver.
Not everybody does it.
Now you want me to give him flowers for doing his damn job, John? I'm not doing that. I think it's a stupid comment after you blow a team off the page, and it's one game. I mean, we talked about it's one game that they've run the ball.
What do you mean? One game that you got him? Oh, they bully ball. They got to do this every game. I'm saying he's allowing people like what you're doing and taking it in this negative direction, even though everybody who says it, I was standing there. Ed asked a question, and we're all telling you he's laughing, he's joking, and you don't want to believe it. But there is a grain of truth to that in the fact that if you got 11 games left in the season, and if you throw it 14 times in all 11 of those games, which obviously is not going to happen, but if you did, yes.
Oh man,
every damn
AJ be crying up a storm if that happened, John. You could,
yes,
he would be 15-2, and he'd be crying up a storm.
And so
and everybody would tell me I'm
Smith,
crazy for saying it's stupid.
And so would Devontae Smith, and so would Dallas Goedert, and so would every other receiver. They wouldn't. Now they'd be smart enough if they were 15-2, which again they wouldn't be. That's not the time to complain. And everybody keeps a lid on it as long as you're winning games. But the minute you lose a game, oh yeah, they'd all be upset. And these are some of the best guys in the NFL when it comes to diva-like behavior for receivers. Because, you know, people take AJ's emotion out of context. Devontae doesn't even show emotion. So I think everybody's on board with the fact that Devontae Smith is not a diva. Well, you know, he's not going to be happy if he's getting 2 targets for 1 yard and 1 bubble screen. He's not going to be happy, nor should he be happy. And by the way, Jeffrey Lurie's nobody's going to be happy.
I know. This team just loves to pass the ball, and then they signed Jalen Hurts to a $50 million quarterback contract, who's just not a prolific passer. That's never been his game. So interesting, the whole thing, the way it plays out. I had a problem with the comments, and I don't care anybody that says I'm crazy. Appreciate you for being here and for watching. I thought they were stupid comments, and I will stand by that. Let a guy eat, AJ Brown. Relax, dude. You got 3,000 yards in 2 seasons. You were given another new.
The last question of a 10-minute press conference where he's literally chuckling, and you're turning him into I don't know, Pol Pot. I mean,
I'm just saying. No, when you wonder why Jalen's forcing the ball to AJ, you know, because the jokes are coming in the media right after if he doesn't do it. If AJ Brown had Devontae Smith's stat line, this would have been a way bigger comment, and everybody knows that. But they're all like, "Oh, he's protecting Devontae, or he's saying it for Devontae." Okay, if that's your takeaway, you're entitled to your opinion. If you think it's a big nothing burger, that's fine. I think it's a stupid comment, and I don't think it's becoming of a guy that wears a C on his chest when Saquon Barkley just had a huge day, and you beat a team, by the way, by 25 points.
And this is your takeaway after you beat a team like a drum.
No, it's not. I've been doing shows for 4 hours. It's the first time I brought it up, John. Come on, it's not my first.
I mean, this is not the hill to die on.
I'm not dying on the hill. All I'm saying is I thought it was a stupid comment.
It was a stupid comment for a different reason than you think it's a stupid comment.
Well, that's fine. That's your opinion. That's
because
fine.
Of the WIP-ization of people take it in these ludicrous directions. That's why it's a stupid comment. And AJ should know better because he's gotten in this heat numerous times, whether it's emotional outbursts on the sideline. Same thing with Nick Sirianni. You can't control where people are going to take the baton. You can't control where people are going to take the baton. So when a player tells the truth, even in a joking fashion, it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. I don't get that. I'll never get that. You know it's the truth. So who gives a shit? He's telling you the truth. Would you rather have him lie to
Reid,
you?
I know why Andy Reid moves on from every receiver that does pretty good in his system because they ain't worth it. And Crowley checks in and says, let's trade AJ Brown then, Zander, and see how good this team is. Crowley, sorry. We didn't pay the right quarterback to be able to do that. You can't get rid of AJ Brown because the team relies on him, Crowley. And I know that. I'm fully aware of that. Go ask the Kansas City Chiefs what they did with their star receiver and their 2 Super Bowls in a row straight without some diva in the locker room crying about targets. They go out and win football games. That's all they care about.
You're comparing AJ Brown to Tyreek Hill. And by the way, the Chiefs were much more explosive with Tyreek Hill. They win different ways now, but
okay, well, 2 straight Super Bowls.
And that's the Eagles. The Eagles. Well, you can get upset about it as much as possible. The Eagles can't even fucking play without AJ Brown.
Oh, I'm aware, and that's on the quarterback, John.
There's other players on the field.
Okay,
but
quarterback's the one who's holding the ball at every single play. They average 27 points a game this year with AJ Brown, and they're 3-0. They're 1-2 without AJ Brown, and they average 17 points a game. They're an inept offense without a receiver. That's nowhere else in the league. That's a quarterback problem.
I often say I don't think people realize how good AJ is. But number one, let's see where he is in the league. I'll look at PFF. I guarantee it's top 10. We'll see. Number 2.
Callie says that ain't Jalen, Zander. Callie, please explain to me how that is not Jalen Hurts.
Number 2 in the NFL, by the way, AJ Brown. Yeah. I mean, should they be able to persevere a little bit better when he's not on the field? Yeah, I talk about it all the time. But yeah, I
set up. This is our team.
It is amazing that so many people don't realize what they have in AJ Brown in Philadelphia. It is fucking amazing to me. This is one of the best players. He's only been here he's only been here.
I have a problem with the comment. The player's great. I know that.
Who gives a shit about the comment? You think anybody's upset? Where do you think these C's come from? Where do you think these C's come from?
I know. The players elect the C's, and they're so perfect with all their picking of the C's. I view it differently than they do. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. That's
well,
perfect.
No. I first of all, what does it make it perfectly? They're voting who they want to be captains. That's all I'm saying. Not Nick Sirianni because Doug Peterson did that once during the COVID season where he just named captains because they weren't around each other. It's like, well, who gives a shit? And he just named the captains. The Eagles vote on their captains. The players vote on the people they want to lead them. And first of all, I'm the person that captains don't mean shit in the NFL. The only reason a captain means anything. If you're a team in the NFL and your quarterback isn't a captain, you got a problem. That's it. That's as far as I look at captains, other than people liking to buy jerseys because the C is on there. And how many stars in the C? I didn't even know that was a thing until Slay pointed it out to me. That's how much I care about fucking captains. But the players are voting for them. So the assumption that he's doing a bad job amongst his teammates, that by definition is ludicrous because they don't have to vote for him. They didn't vote for Devontae Smith. They voted for him last year. They didn't vote for him this year. I don't know why. I don't care, to be honest. He's not the most vocal guy, probably. But they're the ones voting on the C, not anybody else. Not me, not the reporters, not you, the players.
Yeah, I mean, AJ's getting 1,500 yards a year because, if you don't target him, he's going to have a problem with it. So they're obviously going to make him a captain. He's the best player on the team.
Oh, yeah. The players give a shit about, he's getting 1,500 yards a year.
No, they all know he's the best player on the team, John. They watch him at practice every day. They know how good he is.
Well, yeah, obviously. I wish.
And I'm not taking away from his work ethic. It's great that he has a great work ethic. I love to hear that. I had a problem with the individual comment. That's all. 25 points you beat a team by. It's a team sport. You're not going to get a target you're not going to get 20 targets every single game. AJ. One game. And by the way, He had
20
80%
targets. He
of the
wasn't-
receiving yard. Jalen Hurts had 25 receiving yards to receivers that weren't AJ Brown this week.
Yeah, but the point, he wasn't talking about himself because
I
he
know he
got
wasn't.
targets.
I know he was.
And all he
protecting
said,
his
here's
line.
the exact quote. It's like a good and a bad thing. We're happy the guys ran the ball, but we want the ball too. He laughs, as I wrote. I wish there was a few more attempts, but it happens. You're on to the next game. You take it. So it's all good. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with that?
You just beat a team by 25
We're
points.
happy. We're happy the guys ran the ball. Yeah, I wish there was a few more attempts, but it happens.
It
You're
was
on to
so
the next game.
backhanded. You're reading it to me. You don't hear the backhanded nature of it as you read that out loud?
So it's all good. No, but I know what you didn't hear in the moment, the laughter.
I watched it. I watched it live. Somebody put up a video of him doing the response.
So, I mean, what is the big fucking deal? It's
All right,
ludicrous.
That's fine if you don't think it's a big deal. It's just a difference in opinion, John. I thought it was a stupid comment. That's it. That's all I wanted to talk to you about. If you don't think it was stupid, you've made your opinion very clear.
I've agreed it was a stupid comment for this reason that we're having this discussion. It's a stupid comment because it allows people to go in weird directions. That's why it's a stupid comment. We actually agree on the fact that it's a stupid comment. He should know better by this point, especially in this city. People are going to take things in stupid fucking directions. And that's what's going on here. It's not a big deal. You're on to the next game. You take it. So it's all good. Oh, Jesus Christ. Take a C from them. You don't see how that's a little bit of an overreaction? Especially the best player on the freaking team. Talking truthfully, by the way. And that's another thing.
I mean, you talk about expectations though all the time. It creates a small narrative of like the clouds in the air, even if it's not said out loud. We can't do this because we're going to upset the other side of the.
Well, that's where you got me banging my head against the wall. You can't do it because it's not sustainable. And now it's going to be AJ's fault when they go out and throw it 40 times. Because maybe Joe Burrow.
AJ's fault. That's they've been trying to do that for years.
Because maybe Joe Burrow's capable of generating a touchdown here and there. And they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit. So Philadelphia, prepare yourself. They're going to have to throw the ball a little bit moving forward. Yeah, they're not going to be able to do this week in and week out when other offenses are capable of generating a touchdown. You can't just in the fourth quarter hand the ball off 14 times in 15 tries because you're not up by 25 points. So you're going to have to throw the football. So
Fair
AJ,
enough.
if you're out there, if you're listening, keep telling the truth, buddy.
AJ, I'm sure AJ loves you, Johnny Mac. You love AJ Brown. I'm sure he loves you right back. He probably doesn't love me, and I have no issue with that. Just go perform for the team and be a great captain. That's all we need you to do, AJ Brown. John, the question about Jalen Hurts, and we're out of time because we have Les Bowen coming up, and we'll talk to Les Bowen about his takeaways on this game. Not trying to say that we're going to be a bully ball team, but when you go back to the quarterback conversation, is making him more of a game manager. I guess you're going to view that as a regression in what he does, but I view it as just a different style of approach with his skill set. Do you think that's a losing or a winning formula moving forward?
I'm not one of the people that think game manager is an insult.
I agree. That's where I agree 100%.
I used to have this discussion with Jody all the time. He would take it as an insult when I would call, Brock Purdy a manager of the game because he is a point guard. I don't think that's Jalen's game. So if you're scaling back that direction, and with this particular quarterback, who's, whatever you want to call it, playmaking, whatever. I just described Jalen's abilities to play the relentlessness, I always call it, to play 60 minutes. You got to play 60 minutes. He might have a shitty game for 58 minutes. 3rd and 3 versus 4th and 3. You look like the worst quarterback in the world, then you look like the best quarterback. What you want to do is up the consistency. How do you do that? I have no idea. If they could do it, they'd do it. But I do know if you're talking about scaling back to prevent him from turning the football over, or you're talking about scaling back because you don't have confidence in him making plays in the passing game, that's a really bad thing for this football team. If they go to that point, it's a really bad sign for this football team.
Yeah, I just think right now, I mean, in this specific moment, as the Birds are sitting here 4-2, Jalen has struggled slightly this year, reading the field, seeing the field. I wonder if that approach, even if it's not your end goal, even if it's just for the right now to allow him to acclimate himself to the new offense, to the new role he has, does that help him as a quarterback in the right now? I think it could. I think it's fair to say, get Saquon involved a little bit more, even if it's shorter passes to Devontae and AJ, whatever it is, allowing Jalen to kind of take some of that pressure off might open it up for him later in the year.
Boy, I think they got, I don't know how much more you can get Saquon involved. I mean, he's got a ton of touches. I don't even know if it's currently sustainable through 17 games. Hopefully he stays healthy. But I don't know. I don't think that's the problem, getting him involved. They've gotten him involved at a very successful level. I had whatever 1,700 all-purpose yards before the season. They're going to go over that, and no one else went that high. For all the talk of all the how much I hated Saquon, I'm the one who said he was going to get 1,600 to 1,700 all-purpose, and everybody else was below it except Ed.
That prediction looks good. He's already up to 658 on the ground alone. I don't know what he's got in the air. Not too many in the air. Probably under 100.
But the point is, I don't know how much more you can get the guy involved, and I think they do a good job. Like that was smart. The game's over. I don't give a shit about his career high. He doesn't give a shit about his career high. So take him out of the game, and save some of those touches. Because if he's getting 14 touches because they're running it 14 out of 15 times, that's just more wear and tear. So I thought it was smart to get him out of the game. But yeah, I don't that part of their offense has been successful. Now they got to get everything up, everything else ramped up to where it was. And again, as you point out correctly, this is not a high volume thrower. This is not Jared Goff. This is not Kirk Cousins, who's going to throw for 4,500 yards, and you don't want them to be. But they have to be more effective in the passing game, which has been, as you point out, just, is AJ going to make a big play down the field, or is AJ not going to make a big play down the field? There's got to be way more consistency in the short stuff, the intermediate stuff. And it's disappointing that it hasn't grown to this level. And that's why the Eagles offense looks sluggish all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And that's where I would say is there a better approach? It's not as much me trying to say, okay, become ground and pound or become bully ball, but is there a better approach to get Jalen up to speed on what you just talked about? I would argue that there is. Maybe I'm wrong on it. Do you have a problem with what they're doing right now to acclimate it for him?
Well, it's not going well. So yeah, they got to figure out something, or you got to start thinking about going in a different direction down the road. Obviously, it's not going to happen immediately, but
right.
Now this is through Brian Johnson. Everybody blame Brian Johnson. Everybody blames Nick Sirianni. Now they're going to blame Kellen Moore. There's one common denominator, and he's got to get it going.
Yep, no doubt about it. Let's get to our commercial break. I'll get to all super chats after Les Bowen. Appreciate everybody in the chat today. A lot of people mad at me today, Johnny Mac. I love it. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah, I'm usually the one people are mad at. So
welcome to the show, baby. I love it. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Hit that like button. We got the greatness of Les Bowen to bring the real truth to the conversation coming up next with Les Bowen. Appreciate that. Before we get to our commercial break, let me tell you guys about our great friends at BetUS. Go check them out, betus.com.pa. And if you look at your screen, there's a nice big promo code there, YouTube 150. That gives you 150% sign-up bonus on your very first deposit, and you get 125% on your second and third deposit. So deposit less and bet with more at betus.com. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. They have the fastest payouts in the industry, 24/7 customer support, and they'll even give you your own custom account manager to help you make your bets. I'm betting on the Saquon Barkley over, and I did last week, and that means we're giving away a jersey because he hit it over. So we'll be doing a jersey giveaway today. Go check out BetUS. Appreciate it, everybody, and we'll be back in 3 minutes on Birds 365.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom McMullen safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of Birds 365. Joined now by Les Bowen. Les, great to have you on the show, man. How you doing on this Tuesday morning?
Hey, Zander. Hey, John. I'm doing great. Thanks.
Good to see you, Les. I don't know how early you popped in there, but Zander and I were discussing A.J. Brown. And I don't know if you heard his comment, but I knew I was standing right there. And I went, uh-oh. There's a bunch of people that are going to take this into a negative direction. So we'll set the stage after the game. Obviously, dominating performance, 269 rushing yards, 14 passes only. So, AJ, last question, by the way, who was asked last, only 14 pass attempts. And he said, yeah, it's like a good and bad thing. We're happy the guys ran the ball, but we want the ball too. Laughed at that point, kind of chuckled. I wish there was a few more attempts, but it happens. You're on to the next game. You take it, so it's all good. Les Bowen, you've been around this game for a long time. I like guys who tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was truthful. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I think you'd really have to stretch to find something to object to there. And he's right. I mean, everywhere I go, every podcast I've been on, every story I'm reading is, okay, the Eagles have found their
identity.
They're going to run for 270 yards in every game. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No. It's easy to stop a running team unless you have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. All you have to do is put about 8 guys in the box, and Saquon Barkley's not going anywhere. I mean, it's wonderful what they were able to do Sunday. It gave everybody the blowout win they've been waiting for, the blowout win they wanted the week before against Cleveland. But it wasn't any kind of template for the rest of it. That's ridiculous. And we do this every time this happens. Every time they run the ball well, it's, they can do this all the time. No, they can't.
I told Zander yesterday.
Reason with me, Les, because I get what you're saying. And Johnny Mack said,
I was in the concussion protocol.
I quote, Johnny Mack
wanted
to bash his head into the wall doing a show with me yesterday, which I wear now as a badge of honor. But, the quarterback right now through the first 6 games of the year, they're 4-2. He's struggling to see the field a little bit. They've added a lot to his plate. Right. From pre-snap reading, no Jason Kelsey. He's doing a lot more, and he's admitted to that. It's also a new offense with Kellen Moore. Isn't there some part of what they did on Sunday that you can take and expand on to help the quarterback acclimate to ultimately what they want him to be, which honestly, I don't know if he'll ever be that because they want him to throw the ball 40 times a game, and I don't know if that's going to be Jalen Hurts.
Well, I don't know if they really need some good to take from it, a game. I just think 14 is ridiculous. I mean, they're not going to do that. That if they throw it 25 times a game, I think that's a pretty good number. You're right about Jalen Hurts. He is not even Sunday's game. What you got was one incredible play where he put the ball right on A.J. Brown's hands on 4th and 3, 41 yards down the sideline.
Unbelievable throw.
Something of a miracle play. And if they hadn't hit that, what would have the reaction have been? Running that call on 4th and 3, I would never have run that call on 4th and 3, but they did, and he put it right on A.J. Brown, and they scored a touchdown, and the Giants were done. It was a kill shot, But outside of that, Jalen basically just didn't hurt them. I mean, he was 10 of 14. He threw it over the middle, I think, twice for completions, which was nice. But there was a lot more. I think Fran Duffy in a film breakdown showed, there was a lot there with those mesh concepts, and he just couldn't.
Les.
That's really troubling. It's really troubling in year 5 that the quarterback can't see the open receivers, can't process what's in front of him any better than that. I don't understand it. I thought he was doing better with that sort of stuff a couple years ago than he is now. I don't know if he started to doubt himself or what he's seeing, or if he's confused. I don't have any idea what's going on, but he needs to be better, and he's going to have to be better in terms of the decision making and the overall game in order for them to really win something big. They're not going to face the Giants in the playoffs,
I'm comfortable.
But when you got Saquon Barkley, you're going to have a very strong running component in your offense. I mean, that it would be ridiculous not to. You're not going to have the kind of offense you had a couple years ago where, the emphasis was very, very, very strongly toward the pass. It'll be a balanced offense, I think. But I don't think, there are so many people in this market that just want to hand the ball off to the running back and pretend it's 1949, and that's no.
I went to 75, but go back to 49.
Steve Van Buren.
Yeah, it's amazing. that happens every time, because the Eagles have had these games, these 200-yard rushing games. Nobody's had more. But before they had Saquon Barkley, they would have these little sort of pockets where they were, because the offensive line is so good as well. And the same thing would come up. It's not an identity game. I called it a statement game. You know, you put up the bowling pin, you knock it down. It's not their fault the opposition was what it was. You take advantage of it. I called it batting practice fastball, Les, and they knocked it out of the park. And that's what you should do. But it doesn't translate. This week, Cincinnati's not a great team, but they have a quarterback who can generate a touchdown.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to play a little bit differently. To me, it's common sense. I don't know why people can't see it.
Yeah, and you know, the Giants coming into that game were giving up 5.2 yards a carry on the ground. They came out of it, I think, at 5.4, which is the worst in the league. The Bengals don't have the best run defense in the league. They're at 4.4, but I haven't really looked into this deeply, but I think their first few games were really bad, and they've done a lot better since then. They certainly have a defensive line and a defense that can slow you down. You know, the Eagles are going to have to be a better balanced team, I think, this week. And you're right, Joe Burrow is going to show us, and I think that's one of the real things to focus on this week, is Joe Burrow is going to show us how much of the defensive improvement over the last couple games is real and how much of it is playing, you know, Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones. So, you know, it was a wonderful game for people who have just been pining for that no doubt slam dunk win that the team has lacked for a year and a half or something. But it wasn't, you know, it didn't put them at the top of the NFC or anything.
No. Just a couple minutes ago on Sports Radio WIP, Nick Sirianni was on there, and my pander meter is going. You guys tell me how much it's going. Nick Sirianni, when asked if the Eagles are a running team, he says, "Damn right." That's Nick Sirianni's response on WIP just this morning. I don't know. Maybe they're going to take some.
Well, maybe so. We'll see if they can keep it again.
I think there's a medium. I mean, I think you guys are right.
Stop a running team.
Yeah,
I don't think it's real complicated. You know, that's why you don't see teams that just run winning the Super Bowl. But we'll see.
No. Well, it decreases your margin of error. Like
sure does. And if the other team is scoring points easily through the air, you're at a real disadvantage, because you're not going to. The thing that you're not going to do is rip off those 55 and 40-yard runs every week. And that's what, you know, otherwise it's really hard to score points with a running offense.
Yeah. And by the way, the Eagles have been effective running the ball for many years because, you know, Miles Sanders during the Super Bowl season, I think it was 1269, 4.9 yards per carry. I mean, they've been effective running the ball. They're just more effective now because they have a better running back. But because of the offensive line, they've always been a run team, believe it or not, at least in the modern NFL.
Yeah.
They're one of the more capable running teams and have been for a very long time. Where the sort of the we go off the road is you should build around the running game. I don't think you can win that way consistently in the NFL. The closest would be Baltimore, as you pointed out, Les, and they haven't won yet. They're very good. At times they look unstoppable.
But something always happens in the playoffs, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Baltimore right now looks unbelievable.
They look tremendous. I thought they were the best team in the NFL last year, to be honest. And now they've added Derrick Henry to the mix. Now, the defense isn't as good because they lost Mike McDonald, but they're getting better. Long way to go. There is a lot of growth. And that's the positive to me of this team. Last year, as we know, 10-1 didn't get the Eagles much. You don't have to play your best football right now. You have to get incrementally better.
Yeah.
Do you see the upside that this team can? Right now, if you pin me down, I would say this is not a true Super Bowl contender. Do they have
No.
the time to grow into that?
Right. It's an outside. It's on the outside perimeter. It's not with those maybe 4 teams that you would say are really you could see in the Super Bowl right now without any question. They're in that next group, but there's nothing wrong with that. The thing I'm seeing, I'm interested in is the defense. Is because a couple games ago, frankly, I thought that was going to keep them. I thought that was going to really limit their ceiling for how good they could be. Now, maybe, I'm seeing some things with Cooper DeJean and, some of the improvements they've made in the pass rush, Bryce Huff and the 4-point stance and so on. Maybe they're better. Maybe they're okay. But it's really hard to say because they've played 2 real patsies in terms of the opposing offense.
Yeah. Now, competence, it's intangible. But with a young defense, even to that point of playing Daniel Jones, Deshaun Watson, these terrible offenses, they haven't given up a touchdown in 9 quarters.
Right.
You start thinking, feeling yourself a little bit and saying, hey, maybe we can play. You're Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. And forget the rookies. I mean, Jalen Carter's a young player. Jordan Davis is still a young player.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, first-time starter. Nakobe Dean. Zach Vaughn is new to playing a lot.
And they use Nakobe in the right way Sunday.
Yeah,
going
downhill,
forward, that's the way to
Yeah.
use him. That because I don't think he can really cover very well. So
No. You know what though, Les? I think about this all the time. Where are these coverage linebackers other than Fred Warner?
yeah,
Like I saw Andy Reid when the Chiefs were playing the Ravens. Roquan Smith, everybody, all pro linebacker. Andy's game planning to get him in space in the passing game. Like, that's what coaches do. I mean, linebackers can't cover except for Fred Warner.
By the way, did you see Brandon Graham outside?
Yes, and Josh Sweat as well. It did not work out well.
Brandon held. Nobody got a catch on Brandon out there.
Yeah.
I was kidding with him yesterday on text. I was texting him, new career direction.
Josh Sweat, first play of the game, they dropped, and Malik Neighbors. It was not pretty.
Yeah, that's true. That was one of the worst defensive plays of the game, really. But yeah.
But that's a curveball. I have no problem with that. You throw it out, you try to fool the quarterback, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think people they used to do it with Hassan Reddick a ton. You know that.
Yeah.
Anytime they drop Hassan Reddick, people would lose their mind. I'm like, I always make the baseball comparison. You can't throw 100% fastballs. You got to curve in there occasionally.
Yeah.
It's if you do it consistently, it becomes a problem. But this defense is getting better and better and better. And I'm with you. I don't know how much it means because the offenses have been so poor. Joe Burrow is going to be a great test for that because that's a guy you can play. We all know he can play. I think you're going to see Cooper DeJean tested, Quinyon Mitchell tested, and you're going to learn a lot about this team against Cincinnati. I don't know if you learned anything against the Giants other than well done,
Yeah, I think it was good for confidence and cohesiveness. Guys feel better about each other. They have more confidence in each other. If you're playing alongside Nolan Smith, you can actually see him making plays. If you are Nolan Smith, you see yourself making plays, and it's got to be good for you. There's nothing bad about it, but it's not. It's not oh boy, from this day forward, we're getting half a dozen sacks a game.
Yeah, that I agree with.
How much you take from the sack party, Les? I mean, they played that Giants O-line who was missing Andrew Thomas. I don't want to hang my hat on it, but 8 sacks, that's a lot of sacks for and a lot of guys, by the way, who haven't performed well so far. And 2 for Nakobe, 1 for Nolan Smith, 1 for Bryce Huff. Even Jalix Hunt got on the board, which maybe shows you how bad that O-line is over there. But how much can you take away from that? Or is it just a shitty opponent?
A number of them were coverage sacks, Zander, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's a good sign. I think if you're getting coverage sacks, that means there's coverage. So, I that's the kind of thing that was the excuse early on that we were getting was, quarterbacks are getting the ball out so fast. You can't possibly get any sacks. Well, the last few weeks they haven't been, either because they're not good quarterbacks or because everybody's covered. And you're seeing, you're not seeing a whole lot of just going right over guys in 2 seconds and dropping the quarterback as he's still moving backward. You're not really seeing a lot of that. You saw a couple of those, but mostly you're seeing quarterback goes back, looks downfield, looks right, looks left. Oh, here's a defensive, here's rush, which before you didn't even have that. You had guys just standing back there like, ordering pizza and stuff. It was but so it's much better, but I think it's indicative of the whole defense playing better, of the coverage side being better as well.
How much did shifting towards, because remember, again, we haven't talked about the slow start, so we'll go there. They continue, they haven't scored in the first. It's amazing. They're 4-2. They haven't scored.
And it was horrible. It was a horrible.
It really was. And I looked at it.
I don't understand it because you saw the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they do that in the first quarter? What was the problem? What?
I noticed Jalen was feeling pressure before it was actually there.
Yeah.
And almost expecting it because Jordan wasn't out there. Jordan Mailata wasn't out there.
And Fred did not have a good start. He did not.
Yeah. He's almost seeing ghost a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. He was seeing ghost. And my point is that you can't play that way every week. And Jordan's not going to be out there for at least 3 more games. And if they continue down the Spread Johnson route, and they're probably going to because Mekhi Becton's in the concussion
protocol, you're not going to change his position in a week when he might not even be on the field.
Yeah. And boy, you show up to Cincinnati, not a great team, underachieving, disappointment to no doubt everybody in that city. But Trey Hendrickson is one of the best pass rushers in football. And really underrated guy, probably because he plays in Cincinnati. And he's going to be going against Spread Johnson. Maybe you want to run it 45 times and throw it.
Maybe so, yeah. And I meant to look this up before coming on with you guys. I apologize sincerely. I'm going to ask this question without knowing the answer. Remember the tie game with Donovan McNabb in Cincinnati, the game where Donovan plays? At that point, I'm pretty sure the Eagles had never won in Cincinnati.
Yeah, they have a bad record.
Have they won since then in Cincinnati?
I haven't gotten the game notes yet.
I'm going to have to look that up, but it's not a good place for them. There's a few places like that for no good reason. Tennessee, they have never won in Tennessee.
Yeah, well, it's always the AFC teams because you barely go there.
Yeah, you don't get there very often, but they've been there when Tennessee wasn't good, and they still lost, And I think that's the case with Cincinnati as well. It's just not a place where they win for whatever reason.
They lost there in 2016. And then in 2008, was that the game that you were talking about with Donovan? Yeah, they tied in overtime. Does that sound right?
Tied.
Yeah, Donovan didn't realize the game could end.
He didn't realize the game.
Which I think is just crazy, by the way. Yeah. But I digress. No, you're right. They haven't won in Cincinnati.
They have not won. Yeah. Not now. We're talking very few games,
right? And none of the players around from either. Well, Brandon Graham from 2016, but it's not like you're playing the same people every time you go to Cincinnati.
No,
I don't think Donovan's going to be there Sunday. So
yeah. The last time they were there was 2016. Wow, it's been a long time. And
but even going back to the old days of ground and pound football, they lost in Cincinnati a lot. They lost in 71, they lost in 79, they lost in 88, and they lost in 94. All the wins came in Philly.
Those late 70s and 80s,
Ken Anderson, man, that was good, very good team. Yeah,
it was back when they were actually making it to the Super Bowl, although not winning it.
I advocate Ken Anderson for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. A really good quarterback that, for whatever reason, has not been put in yet. But yeah, they haven't had a great history. Nick gets asked about that. He'll probably get asked about that this week, and he'll say, and he's right. Like, what does that have to do with insert?
It doesn't, but it's another little thing to keep on You know, I thought that about Tennessee, and then they played a game there where they blew a huge lead late, and I was thinking,
Yeah, I remember that game too. It's Jim Schwartz picket fence game.
yeah,
Which everybody loved that defense. But you're right about that part of it. As a whole, though, with this particular team, I think there's, the luxury of this division this year, I thought was going to be there. But now I don't know if it's going to be there, Les, because the Washington Commanders look legit. Now, Jaden Daniels hurt his ribs. They labeled him as week to week. So maybe they come back down to earth. Marcus Mariota played tremendously, ironically, as the backup. When Jaden Daniels is out there, are you starting to believe in the Commanders as being a potential hiccup for the Eagles? Because, boy, looking at Dallas, I thought this was going to be easy pickings for the Eagles, the NFC East.
Right.
Now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Commanders are really feeling it. It looks to me like one of those years where they're going to go a long way this year. They're not going to win the Super Bowl, and everybody down there is going to think next year we'll win the Super Bowl, and maybe they won't be quite as good next year. I think there's such a lift when you're finally good and you've been bad for a long time, and things are, you're freed from the ridiculous owner and
it's like euphoric,
and bad management and bad coaching. I think they're kind of playing maybe above their heads a little bit. Not with Jaden Daniels. He's great. Wonderful player. But again, the league will adjust to him in the offseason like it did with Hurts and with other players, But I think they're going to have a heck of a year. And I think they might very well win the NFC East if the Eagles don't improve. I think the Eagles are going to have to raise their game to be as good as the Commanders are right now, frankly.
Uh-huh.
So, we'll see if they can do that. They certainly have the talent to do it, but the Commanders are just playing really, 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 really well. And they lost a big cog on their defensive line for the season. But
that's a big injury. Yeah. That's another thing. The Eagles' injuries, and Jordan's a significant one, but he's going to be back.
Right.
Some of these injuries, Aiden Hutchinson, I think Detroit's the best team in the NFL.
Yes.
Right now. But they lost Aiden Hutchinson. That is difficult to overcome.
It's huge. Yeah.
A lot can change in the league quickly.
And these devastating injuries, like you said, the Eagles haven't had one like that. You saw Chris Godwin last night. He's out for the season.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah.
40-some seconds left, in a game they're losing by 10. And they already lost Mike Evans to a re-injury of his hamstring earlier in that game.
Yeah.
Some of the real bad injuries like Godwin and Aiden Hutchinson and some of it's you don't need much of that to really change your whole outlook for your team.
Really is a war of attrition, the NFL.
Yeah.
And it's going to look a lot different. And a lot of times it does come down to who's healthiest as you get to the playoffs. And we got a long ways to go, but I guess we haven't gotten into Nick Sirianni at all because things have slowed down because you get the big winning cures all. But boy, it's a rough week for Nick Sirianni, man. Everybody was piling on.
Yeah.
We've talked about this with you before, Les, but from day one, I didn't like the setup. I thought it was just wrought with potential problems. Nick is almost a lightning rod. If things go poorly, it's all his fault. If things go well, it's Kellen Moore, it's Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Lurie set all this up and said, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. I got to go straight to the top. What was Jeffrey thinking when he thought this was a good idea?
Boy, that's a good question, John. I'm going to say he was thinking he couldn't afford to fire his coach right after going to the Super Bowl, that he would get this reputation as a crazy owner who couldn't be satisfied after both Doug and Nick, if he'd have gotten rid of Nick last winter. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cough here.
I'm losing my voice too. It's going around. South Jersey.
He's done this before. He did it with Andy. You remember the year 2011 when they were 4-8 and they won their last 4 games, and Jeffrey held a big press conference at the end of the season to explain that he was giving Andy one more chance, which was doomed from the very beginning. You don't give somebody one. No, who's ever won in that circumstance?
Yeah. Hey, he's a lame duck. Yeah. That the last thing you want to do is signal somebody's a lame duck at coach or quarterback, I think, in the NFL.
Right. I don't know, that Jeffrey's idea was a great one. I don't think it was. But I do think the team still plays for Nick, and we saw that. I think some of the criticism, Nick can certainly irritate me. He's gotten into this thing with you guys in the press conferences, John, of proudly proclaiming, I'll never discuss with you guys. Blah, blah,
I
blah.
know. I don't even waste questions on injuries anymore. I'm like, come on, dude. The Fridays are like, you're going to give it to us in an hour. You can't tell.
Right.
I mean,
the things that he thinks are really important to keep from the public aren't usually very important.
No, they are not.
But as exasperating as he can be, he does still have the support of the team. I think.
It seems like it to me too.
Yeah. And as long as that's the case, I think you're in pretty good shape. Is he the greatest coach ever? No. But it's going to – I don't think he's the main issue, really, with this team right now. And we'll just see how this goes going forward, whether it's as unwieldy as we fear it might be, or whether somehow you can.
Who is the big issue? Because I think it's the quarterback on offense.
Well, Jalen's development is a big issue, whether that's all on Jalen or not, whether it's all the different offenses that he's had to, or different coordinators he's had to try to, figure out, or whether it's.
Les Howie brought up a good point. When he addressed that, he was like, you're going to lose coaches in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you're good, you're going to lose coaches. If you're bad, you're going to lose coaches.
Right.
And if you look at the offensive coordinators around the league, there aren't many who have been there for a long time. So you either get a head coach that calls plays, or
which isn't that kind of what they wanted with Nick, though?
Well, that's
it sure was. Yeah.
They
which
wanted.
is why I wonder, maybe that is what they wanted to be the setup. And now because Nick has evolved into this CEO coach that couldn't call plays effectively or be the play caller, maybe they're not too happy with the setup right now, which is a revolving door, which is certainly making it harder for him to find a rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think he's got to figure it out, Jalen Hurts.
I do.
I do too. And I don't really understand. Jalen is such a closed book. You just can't. You don't get inside his process of how he's doing this, what he's trying to do, how he sees it. Everybody talks about how hard he is on himself, but you don't hear a lot of introspection from him. You don't hear a lot of, gee, I should have done X instead of Y. It's really hard to parse for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Les, great takeaways, man, from the game. We appreciate you joining in today. You always have a great objective take. Sometimes you bring me back to reality, Les, and that's why I love you. We appreciate having you on, my friend. We'll talk to you again soon, all right, man?
At Les Bowen, make sure you read Les at PHLY as well. Doing a great job over there. Thanks, Les. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Yeah. Great stuff from Les Bowen there. John, we got 5 minutes left, and I'm going to do the Saquon Barkley jersey giveaway. Maybe I'll get some people back on my good side, John. I'm giving away a jersey to the people as they're all pretty.
Yeah, that'll get free stuff. Will always get you in people's good graces. I know that.
Right. That's all right if I'm not. There are opinions on sports, everybody. If you expect them to all be the same, I don't think
it's no fun if it's no fun if they're all the same.
I agree 100%. Let's get through a couple super chats, John. We got a bunch of them, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys for your support of the channel. James Carver says, love that both of you going off today, and Zander's not Cilio. He's just coming into his Jody style. Now y'all have the chat on.
Well, then he's got to argue about semantics if he's going to Jody style.
I'm not quite Jody Mack or Cilio. I am Big Z. I'm a different person than both of them. I think everybody has certain takes that are good on certain things. That's how I view it. Brian says, Jake Elliott's a captain. It's a joke. Fair point. Fair point.
Well, I think captains are a joke, but why is it they vote for a special teams captain and they voted for Jake? I mean,
Is there always a special teams captain?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, see, that's part of it too. But you took it away from Devontae Smith and Jake showed up. I thought that was stupid. But anyway, I digress.
No, he was a captain. He was a captain last year. Jake was a captain.
Yeah, no, but Devontae didn't get it this year. Who got it in place of him?
Devontae's the only one who didn't get it back, who was a captain. Jake was already a captain.
Yeah, I wonder, did they just have one less captain this year?
I believe they did, yeah.
Interesting. Daniel Bigelow checks in. There's only 2 QBs in this league that can win it without a star wideout, and only one that can win championships, and he still has a beast of a tight end.
Yeah, he's getting older, though. Travis is getting older, man. Hasn't been as effective this year, but they keep winning games. So
yeah, watch, and Travis will be effective at late.
And Andy always finds a way. Andy's obviously a little bit different, and Rasheed Rice was turning, and he's injured now, but he was turning into a big time receiver, whether people recognized it or not. He was turning into that, but yeah, it's kind of amazing how they've been able to keep up, and they've tilted towards more of a defensive team now, with Spagnuolo and all the blitzing on third down. By the way, when is everybody going to figure that out? Hey, rest of the league, closed circuit, Steve Spring in the house on third and long. Figure it out.
I'll tell you what, they have become a defensive football team, John. Steve is on a run right now.
I'm surprised that people can't figure that out, man.
Yeah, well, I wonder why they became a defensive football team. They said, Tyreek, goodbye, defensive assets, let's go. And now they're a defensive football team. And
well, yeah, but I mean, that should be easy to take advantage of. I mean, he doesn't exactly throw a lot of curveballs. And I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, we'll see. Derek Perry checks in. Derek, appreciate the super chat. He says, AJ was speaking about other wide receivers. The fact that you, Krause, and Cilio are making such an issue about it only shows that you're looking to nit. No, Krause and Cilio, not you.
Oh, I thought it was you, Krause, and Cilio.
I guess he's talking to me. I don't think he's talking about you. You clearly had no issue with Jalen or AJ's comments.
Yeah.
It only shows you're looking to nitpick and create problems. Derek, I have an opinion that is different than yours. I thought after a 25-point win, Diva comments.
We all nitpick, by the way, wins, losses. There's nothing wrong with nitpicking. I mean, what again, how boring is it?
We wouldn't have a job.
I didn't even agree with Zander, but how boring is it if, hey, the Eagles are great. Yeah, everything they do is perfect. I don't agree with this that it's a big deal, but yeah, I don't have any problem with somebody voicing their opinion.
Agreed, Johnny Mac. That's why we love you, and that's why we appreciate everybody in the chat. Jacob's all about different opinions. As long as everybody keeps it respectful, we keep it good. Flexen says, Jacob ZK giving J Mac Macho Man elbows from the top rope. Look at that, Johnny Mac. One person it looks like was on my side, because let me tell you, I read the chat during that segment.
Boy, man, I thought it was Bill Goldberg against Randy Mulkey. See, I see things a different way. Zander was.
I don't know.
Zander was the jobber there, and I was running through him. Yeah, I don't know.
I love it. I love it. Good stuff, Flex. Appreciate it, brother. Brian says this is just for J Mac getting fired up and saying "fuck" in the morning. I fucking love it. Also, fire Nick anyway.
Yeah, when
Brian,
I'm like sometimes I'm like Jordan Mailata, and I got to apologize. Yeah, you throw the F-bombs out there.
That's all right. That's how most humans in the real world talk. Yeah. Every once in a while.
Well, when you're, because I'm on the radio a lot too. Now that I'm on YouTube, you can say "fuck," and then you get used to it.
I know. You got to be careful.
You got to be careful. It's a bad habit to get into. That's why. No doubt. That's why I try to stay away from it. But
yeah, I'm YouTube only, so I can speak a little bit more freely. James Carver, one more super chat. Appreciate it, man. He said, no one's playing point guard. This is not basketball. It's football. Hello. I'm kidding, obviously, but let's go nuclear. Just poking the bear today. James, I love it, brother. Appreciate the support. Johnny Mack, your response there.
Well, there are, again, it's just, and he's joking, but it's just an analogy. I use baseball analogies like Jim Swartz. I use basketball analogies, and there are sort of, quarterbacks that distribute like a point guard, old school point guard, not new school. It's just a way of describing things, like the labeling system. But I don't think Jalen Hurts is a point guard. I think Jalen Hurts is a playmaker. He's a shooting guard.
He's a playmaker, but he's not making the plays anymore, John.
Well, he makes a lot of freaking plays.
I know, but let me rephrase, because he does make plays. He doesn't make plays in the way that I think the Eagles organization wants him to make plays so badly, which is in the passing game all day long.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, and I'm probably part of the problem. I don't. When I say the Eagles want to pass the ball, they want to pass again. They want to pass the ball to take the lead. They want to run the ball to win the game. So they want
Which
to
is
play
a very
from the
modern approach to football, right?
Yes.
Like in the old school, it was the opposite of that completely.
The opposite.
Yes.
And because they know that's the increases. I always talk about the margin of error. It increases your margin for error if you're able to play football that way. You can win a game running the football 45 times and as they just did, and throwing it 14 times if you have a bad opponent. Even if you have a good opponent, if you play the game perfectly, I always say, win the coin toss, take the football, which they never do. Go on a 7-8 minute drive, score a touchdown, shorten the game, play from the lead. You can win a football game that way. But again, I always go back to the first San Francisco, Kansas City Super Bowl. That's who the 49ers were. That's how they were playing. They played a perfect game for 3 quarters. They were on the cusp of the Super Bowl. And it was bang, bang, 2 lightning strikes, game's over. Game was over because they did not have the capability to come back once they got behind. That's what you're talking. You're talking about a margin of error. You're not talking about you can't win you can win a football game in a million different ways. Can you do it consistently? Can you increase your margin of error to be that great team that can win in any way? That's what the Eagles want to be. That's what the Eagles strive to be. And that's not bully ball or whatever you want to call it. That's not increasing your margin of error.
Yeah. Well, understood. And I understand where you're going with that. I just wonder if there's a different approach that should be considered here in the city of brotherly love when you think about who they have on the roster. And, I just don't think the quarterback's built for that, John. I really don't. And it's not even a criticism of him. It's just you talk about accentuating the talents of your players. I look at Jalen Hurts and I'm like, it wouldn't be my setup to come into a game and try and throw the ball all over the field to get the lead. It wouldn't be my setup. That's all.
Well, I don't think it's anybody's setup. Nobody wants to throw the ball 55 times. Nobody in the NFL wants to throw the ball 55 times.
Yeah, because it means you're probably down in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, the goal is to be Detroit right now. And I use Detroit only because Detroit is, to me, they have the best offense right now. Everybody wants to be Detroit. They can beat you any way you want. Any game you want to play, they can beat you. Offensively. We'll see if they can hold up defensively without Hutchinson. But it was going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he was on a tear, man. How about, John, real quick, how about Dexter Lawrence, dude? He's up to 9 sacks at the nose position through 7 games. I mean, this dude is on pace for 20 sacks as a nose, John.
Yeah. And he's, on such a shitty team. Even the market, nobody's going to notice, but he's a great player. He's a great player.
He is good.
But yeah, I mean, nobody, you saw the ceiling of the Eagles 2022, and that ceiling is plenty good enough to win. Didn't win, could have won, should have won.
Yeah. The question is, can they get back to that? Can they get back to that ceiling?
And that's what they're trying to. And right now it doesn't look like they can, but that's what they're striving for.
Yeah, and that's always that's the part of the NFL, right? You're always striving to be at your best, and it's never a guarantee that you'll get there. I would just debate on their method of getting back there, but I digress. John, way over time. I got to give away the jersey. Thanks for checking in today. Your final thoughts on the Tuesday
All
edition.
right, I got to roll. I got to get down for coordinator day, so we'll get some good stuff. Hopefully, Kellen Moore will chuckle about the slow starts. I assume Vic will tell the truth, and we'll try to get something.
How about no chuckling from Kellen Moore? Kellen, fix the shit, man. You can't do that. 25% of the game, you're inept. Come on. Might be on Jalen Hurts, but I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know where the problem lies.
Kellen Moore will protect the quarterback. Trust me.
Yes, I know.
Better than Fred Johnson.
Yeah,
right.
John. Thanks for joining, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow, all right, brother?
All right. See you, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Right. Thanks, Johnny Mac. Good stuff from Johnny Mac there. Joining me on Birds 365. It's time, everybody, for the Saquon Barkley jersey giveaway. By the way, let me just recap. What a great show that was. Not everybody likes the opinion I have. You win by 25 points, AJ. Shut up. Shut up. I mean, come on, everybody. You're telling me I'm crazy. He won the game by 25 points, and the dude has 3,000 yards in 2 seasons. He's a top 3 receiver in the NFL. He was given a brand new contract 2 years after already signing a record contract, and he's still crying after one game that he got 90 yards and a touchdown. AJ, shut up. It's a diva comment. It's a diva comment. Whether you want to believe that or not, it's a diva comment by AJ Brown. Appreciate everybody, by the way, in here. Appreciate all of you guys. SMD, what's up, SMD? Flex, James Carver, appreciate all you guys. I'm going to switch it over to members only mode. We're going to be giving away the jersey here in just a minute. Ian East, good to see you, brother. He says, heel Zander. Ian, I have never have an intention to go heel or not heel, Ian. I call it how I see it. I try and be as truthful and honest as I can on the air. I believe you people spend your time and, in a way, money, because time is money, here on JAKIB, and you watch me. I believe that warrants me being truthful. Whether you agree with me, I don't have a problem with. I don't think you're going to agree with me. You guys probably don't agree with me more than 50% of the time. That's part of talking sports. But I never try and be a heel, Ian. But I do appreciate you being here, brother. Thanks, everybody, for being here. A lot of great commenters, as always. And I appreciate all of you guys. Suplex, tell him Big Z. Parks has won the job. Not sure what that means. Flexin, I'm forever a heel. Flexin, you are. If I was the commissioner of the WWE or whatever they call it, or whatever Triple H is, Flex, you'd be my first call. You are the king heel of the chat, my friend. And you do a good job of being a heel. Let me switch over to members only mode. So before I do that, let me update everybody. Let me tell everybody what's going on. We're giving away a Saquon Barkley jersey. We do it every time he goes over 125 yards. So obviously he blew through that number this week. He had 176 rushing yards and 11 receiving yards. He did it at 187 yards. He was an absolute beast in that football game. Anybody telling me I'm crazy for wanting to run the offense through that guy? Okay, check out that production. Check out that player. That's a ball player, everybody, Saquon Barkley. So we're giving away a jersey, and we do it to only a channel member. So you got to be a member to win. MK says, how do we become a member? MK, there should be a chat in the a comment in the chat that's pinned at the top. Now, maybe the pin is gone. It shouldn't be gone. I will drop the member link in one more time for everybody. Let me just do some production on the air here. Sorry. And I'll put in the link. You got to become a member to win. A lot of times the phones are a pain in the ass with it, which is really just annoying at this point. I mean, come on, iPhone, figure it out here with becoming a member. I think it's a clash between Google and Apple. They don't like each other. But you become a member, and then I do a random drawing. I'll pull it up on screen, and you guys can join that to become a member. And you guys will have a couple minutes here to join, get your final memberships in before we do the jersey giveaway. So let me do the one more time. I'll put the link in there. There's the link. I just put the link in the chat for everybody. Become a member, and you will be entered into the chance to do the jersey giveaway. So, Dre, let me answer Dre. Dre says, how was he crying? Dre, it was a stupid comment. You won the game by 25 points, Dre. You're crying about targets to receivers when he has 3,000 yards in 2 seasons. Sit down and say, nope, no issue with the game plan today. Happy Saquon Barkley had a massive day versus former team. And move on. It was a stupid comment, Dre. Stupid comment. Suplex thinks there's some sort of conspiracy going on. Zander, no more relatives, cousins, uncles. Suplex, I don't have a member on this channel. And maybe that's shitty. Maybe I got to reach out to my family group chat and say, yo, dudes, can you guys give some support? I don't have a single member on our channel that is a cousin, a relative, a brother, a dad, a sister, an uncle, anything. Not one. Suplex. And again, maybe that's a problem. Maybe I got to reach out to them and get some more support from them. Actually, there's only one channel that is there's only one channel that's a member of JAKIB that is a fuddy-duddy, and that's ZK's Garage, and that's my garage channel. I used to post, I don't use it anymore, but I used to post videos of me driving around in my Mustang, RC cars, all sorts of dumb shit that I used to love to do. That's the only one. So if ZK's Garage wins, we can cross them off the list, Walter, as Herb Brooks would say. But appreciate everybody. Get those memberships in. Nobody's joining it right now. So if you're trying to join, let me know, and I'll wait for you. But otherwise, I am going to do the giveaway very soon. Kenny Sprague checks in with a super chat. Kenny, appreciate it, brother. He says, I would support you if I was your cousin. Thank you, man. I mean, appreciate that, Kenny. Seems like common sense, right? Prince says, Zander, stop changing the rules. Prince, I don't change rules, my friend. I don't change the rules, Prince. Prince is in one of those combative crying moods today. Prince, change it. What rules, Prince? You got to be a member to win, Prince. That's it. If you're a member on JAKIB Sports, you're eligible to win. All right, let me pull up the list. Look at Prince. Prince, you crack me up. I will say that. Let me pull up the list. And I'm going to start showing everybody their names like I normally do. Here we go. Here we go, everybody. All right, so I got the list of everybody, and this is a Saquon jersey. Let's say a giveaway. This is what, number 3 that we've given away, and it was a Week 7 game. All right, we'll title it that. Here's my list of members. There's 245 of you, which, by the way, a little unlucky, and you guys can thank James Carver in the chat. He gave away 50 memberships, and they're about to expire in about 5 days. So really, it should be 195 members. So it would increase your chances a little bit better. But wait, I actually like this. This is because A-Team, they're going to get mad at me for changing. They're going to get mad at me for changing the rules. A-Team, I got something coming for the legend members. That's better than a jersey. I'll say that. All right. Jason A-Team's a legend. You're right. You do deserve more entries, James. James Dogwin says, I got to go back to work. Give us the name. James, I'm on Zander time, my friend. If I'm taking too long, James, you're going to have to check in on the replay, my friend. I'm on Zander time, James. Appreciate you checking in, brother. All right, so here's the list of names, and if you want me to search your name, I will do it for you guys. These are our newest members, the Gregory, Jan Regal, Corey Brass, Matthew Mazzoni, Chan, you're on there. You joined yesterday. Rob F. M. Martin, Mr. Perez, the great Mr. Perez, who was crying today in the chat. He's on here. So we got everybody on here. If you want me to search your name, let me know. I will search it. I'm just making the tab a little bit smaller so I can see what's going on. James says, my company recognizes Zander time. I appreciate that. Terry Hayes, pays off to be a legend. Yes, it does, Terry, our first legend member. We're working something out with Terry now. And James says, now I'm getting the hate. All right, who wants me to search their name real quick? So I'm going to do this. I will not keep you guys until 11 a.m. James, you got to earn a free membership. I don't know how, actually. I think it's all YouTube. They just do the random giveaways. But let me switch the chat over to members only mode because you guys there's too many people in here that aren't members of the great JAKIB Sports. How do I switch this thing? Zander time, baby. We're on Zander time. All right, here we go. Members only. Members only. Save. All right, it's officially members only. Matthew, you're not a member. I can see it right now. You're not going to be on there, my friend. And now it's on members only mode, so you won't be able to chat back in. Appreciate everybody joining in. A couple names I will search. Elijah Max says, search me. Elijah, doesn't look like you're a member. So you're not going to be on the list, my friend. Elijah Mack, you're on the list. You're not a member. How did you get on my list of members when you're not a member? You're not showing as a member right now, and Elijah is on this list. That is BS. Let me double check on YouTube if you're a member. Might be a StreamYard problem. This is some baloney. How does Elijah get on the list? Twiz wants a jersey for getting homes, at least a hoodie. Yeah, Twiz, get in the back of the line of the list of people who want free shit. All right, Twiz. I'll try and make something happen for you though. Let me confirm Elijah, because if we got a little bit of an issue here. Elijah, you are not a member. You're going to be removed from the list. You might have been expired overnight because I pulled the list. The fix is in. Everybody's now pissed off. The fix is in. Elijah, removed from the list. Gone. See ya, Elijah. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. We got this is like the election. We got dead folks voting. We got people who are not members in here. There's Flexing and Steppin'. You're in here, Flexing. You can see your name. Who else am I searching to see? Howie. Yeah, it's Howie. Howie didn't like my take on AJ Brown today, and he said, I will rig this giveaway. I will rig the giveaway. Rigged voting. It's the American way. It truly is. Who else wanted me to? Oh, there's Matthew. Matthew Halpin wants to become a member. Let me add Matthew Halpin. Matthew, welcome to the show, my friend. Boom. And I think I can do a shuffle on this list after. Look for your name. I'm going to scroll through. Ryan, I know you're on here. I'll search you though. Ryan, there you are. You see it? You're Ryan with no initial after it. You're just the Ryan. Matthew, welcome to the Terror Dome. I like that SMD. You've been using that. I like. Yeah, Elijah did dry snitch on himself. No doubt about it. Miz, where's Miz at? Let me search Miz. Miz, you're on there. See it, Miz. James Carver, you're on here, my guy. James Carver, you are on here, my guy. There you are, James. See it? William Fleming's on there. By the way, there's no repeat winner, so I'm not going to remove his name because he's a member, but William Fleming can't win, and David Mac Perez, who's actually a viewer, he was in here this morning, he can't win either, so if they win, Bob Brown, Big Z, let's roll. Bob, welcome to the show of Zander Time. Stay Focused 1102 joins. Let me add Stay Focused to the list. Thanks for becoming a member, everybody. Stay Focused 1102. All right, added to the list. Another member joins. Stephen McKell, I'll search you. James Jones, I'm sure you're on here. There you are, James Jones. Stephen McKell, there you are. Let me look. Let me search Prince because Prince is in a crying mode. There's Prince _Swayze. Park Alexander, I'll search you. Devin Park, there you are, Park. You're under. Oh, let me scroll up. See it, Park Alexander, Chester Parks. We got a lot of Parks in here. Abe, I'm sure you're on here. Abe, there you are, brother. You're a family member. I know you're on here. You made the list. Bob Brown, did you see your name? Bob, there you are. Stop crying, Princess. I'll echo that. Princess, you're in a crying mood. Princess. Stop mentioning me. Prince, why? You're a star on Jacob, dude. You're a star. We got a couple stars in the chat. All right. 3 more minutes to join. 3 more minutes to join. And at 10:24, I will end the cutoff. J Hot Dogs, whatever the name is. Oh, look, there's ZK's Garage. Let me remove that because that's my channel. See that, everybody? You want to go check out my channel, go ahead. ZK's Garage. Off the list. That's myself. I am not going to be the winner of this one. J Hot DSG 91 added to the list. There he is. ZK Garage has been removed. Yeah, Flex. I got Brian Fleming. My man, Brian Fleming. Brian Fleming is the king of the funny super chat. Like, if I see a super chat come in and it's Brian Fleming, I know that laughs are in order. Brian had the iconic super chat. Brode, I'll search you. There you are, Brode. You see it, man? You're on there. Brian Fleming, you've been added. Who else? 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes to become a member. We're on Zander time today, everybody. 2 more minutes to become a member. Appreciate everybody in here right now. Don't forget to hit that like button, by the way. It's really the best thing you can do, basically, to help our channel grow. So if you want to help us out, appreciate that. James McBride becomes a member. Appreciate it. Polska, I will search you in a second. Just let me add James McBride here. James McBride entered into the giveaway. Good stuff there. Let me search Polska Trucker. Polska Trucker, there you are, brother. You see your name highlighted there. You're in there. Good stuff there. You got 1 minute and 10 seconds to become a member. Appreciate everybody. If anybody else wants me to search, just drop it in here. We appreciate you. James McBride becomes a new member. Thank you, James. Brian Fleming becomes a new member. Thank you, Brian. Jay Hot Dog becomes a new member. Thank you, Jay Hot Dog. And Stay Focused becomes a member. Thank you, Stay Focused. And Matthew Halpin becomes a member. Thank you, Matthew Halpin. Any other members? We got about 30 seconds left. SMD Eagles, I will happily search your name. SMD Eagles, there you are. You're on the list. Thank you for being a member, SMD. Very much appreciated. And I can't thank you enough for your support of this channel. You've been here for maybe one of our longest, SMD. Maybe one of our longest. I know SMD was here before we had 1,000 subscribers. Before we had 1,000. That's pretty incredible that she's been here this whole journey through the middle and all the crazy shows that we've had. And I feel better now about where JAKIB is than I ever have in the past. So thanks all of you guys for supporting. The time is expiring. The time is expiring. Any new members that come in, the cutoff is now. So sometimes it takes a second to come through. I'll give about 30 more seconds. If any more come through, you'll be added. And then we'll do final look-throughs of the list. I'll shuffle this sucker. And we will be on our way to giving away. So, yeah, SMD is Abe. I think you're more new, Abe. I mean, not new, but like in the last year or so. Yeah, some people have been here for a really long time, which is dope because I didn't used to talk to them all on air. And now I do. And I love that. One more, Chip Snyder came in. Chip Snyder added to the list. Chip Snyder. All right, cutoff is now. Any other members that come in are going to be booted to the next week's giveaway. The reason I give everybody a second is because it makes you sign up online on your computer most of the time because the freaking the phones for some reason do not work. So I got to give everybody at least those 30 seconds. All right, a minute has passed. This is it. This is the list. Here we go, everybody. You can see here the list of names. I'll click start. If anybody wants me, I'll go through the list one more time. It gives me the list again. There's one winner. There's no substitutes. The countdown will be 10 seconds. And your list of participants, we can shuffle this sucker up. Boom, shuffle. Shuffle again. Shuffle again. Shuffle again. All right, 4 shuffles. There you are, Park, Jeff Bone, Mike 07, Spa City. Look for your name if you're out there. Look for your name if you're out there. Where's Twiz? Let me find Twiz the Jigga. We're rolling through the name list right now. Gregory, there you are. M. Reyes is in here. AJ, Andrew Hernandez, James Dowgan, who's on company time. Chip Snyder, I added you to the list. You were added at the top. Suo Blaze, Nello, Lauren Crampsey's in here. James Carver's in here. Bob Brown, the legendary Bob Brown. NJ Fishing, Stay Focused, one of our newest members. Lucius the Show, one of our JAKIB Legend members. Ms. Brode, Tanner Creeman, Sue Chick, the legendary Sue. Love Sue. She ordered some JAKIB merch, by the way. Go get your merch, everybody. Got a couple orders in the last couple of days. Thank you guys for the support. Chip Snyder, there you are, Chip. I think you were lurking. Crowley, I'll search your name. Anybody that doesn't see themselves, I'll search. I'll make sure you're here. WCBJJ, Takeem Hilton, Bleed Green, Jersey Dudes in here, Brian Grensick's in here, Hallie Pierce, Dullahan Monster, Big Pickin', David Mac Perez, who's really not eligible to win, Mad Bird, Prince Swayze, Jay Hot Dogs, Crowley, there you are, see it? Crowley X26, you're in there. Chip, I just went by you, dude. I'll search it, though, for you if you really need me to. I did just go by it, though. Cody's Nuts. Let me find Cody's Nuts. Wait, let me roll through the list, and then I'll go through. Amber Baker's in here. Flexen and Steppen, the legendary, who wants a Yankees jersey if he wins. I might have to abide by that, by the way. Miguel Lara, Christopher Chapelier, Suplex City. There you are, Suplex. CT Philly, Jeff Martin, Devin Parker, RMP, Stevie Betts, Jack Straw, John Kemsky, Mr. Perez. Mr. Perez, is he still crying like a storm in the chat? He was crying all day today. Abe, there you are, Abe. Jacob Deem, Matthew Mazzoni, Sean Goodwin, SMD, David Cleary, Farmer J, legendary Farmer J, M. Martine, Matt. There's Twiz the Jigga. There you go, Twiz. You got yourself. I'm looking for Cody's Nuts. I'll still search Cody's Nuts. Make sure you guys are on here. Cody K's in here. There's Cody's Nuts. There you are, brother. Cody's Nuts. The nuts are in. Stephen McKell, Clary Voy's in here. And that's it. That Greg, Eduardo Reza, Joe High. Appreciate all of you guys. Any other names that need to be searched? I think I got everybody, though. I think I got everybody. All right. 30 more seconds for comments if you want me to search your name, and then I'm doing it. I'm doing this thing. I'm ready to get this sucker on the road. Any other comments? Any other comments coming in that want me to search? Let me do this, too. Make myself a little bit bigger. There you go. Ryan, I did check yours already, Ryan. Oh, wait. Cancel. Don't want to do that. F. Ryan. There you are, Ryan. See it? You're on there. Shake them dice, baby. I did shake it up 4 times. Kenny Sprague. Let me check Kenny for him. Kenny, there you are. You got it? Kenny Sprague, you're there. All right. Let's go. Let's roll. Let's do it. Everybody gets it. Welcome to Zander time, everybody. Welcome to Zander time. I love when people get pissed off at Zander time. Confirm. There's your list one last time. I'll do 3 shuffles. 1, 2, 3. Boom. There you go. Start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spa City. I think Spa's in the chat. Is Spa here? Is Spa in the chat? No, I wanted the winner to be here. Is Spa City in the chat? Spa City with the W. Man, I thought I saw Spa City today. Spa, are you out there? Spa, are you out there? If you guys think this, you guys know this isn't my cousin. Spa City's in the chat all the time. So Suplex, get that conspiracy out of here. Broad says run it back. Congrats, David Kern. What's up? Suplex, you're a serial crier, Suplex. One more spin, M. Reyes. Congrats. No, we got to show. Look, Spa City has 24 hours to claim his prize. If Spa doesn't claim his prize, Spa is out. Spa, you're out of there. Spa. I think he's in here, though. I thought he was in the chat. He's not in the chat. Let me go confirm on YouTube. Make sure that he's a member. I always double check. So if you're not a member and you somehow made it, let me check on Spa. Make sure Spa City is a member. Let me look for Spa real quick. Spa City's been watching JAKIB for a long time. That's why I like the winner. I always like when it's a winner that is supportive of the channel. Yeah, Spa City. He's been a member. There he is. I got him, and I'll show you guys his account. Spa City's. It looks like he's rocking a Michael Vick jersey in his profile. Let me share the screen with you guys. There he is, the legendary Spa City. Boom. Spa City Chop 6712. 2 subscribers, joined in 2019 before JAKIB existed. Spa City Chop. There he is, the legendary Spa City. What's he got? Is that a Michael Vick jersey, everybody? Is that a Michael Vick jersey? It looks like it. Great stuff. There is our winner. Appreciate everybody for joining. I'm going to put the post up. If Spa doesn't claim his prize, I'll be having you all on Zander time again tomorrow. You're right. TikTok, RMP. He's got till 10 a.m. tomorrow. He's got till 10 a.m. tomorrow. If you don't get that Tinder picture out of here. Is he related to Suplex? That's a good question, Miz. Wait a second. Miz, did you just unlock a theory? Because Suplex has been telling me I'm the one who's rigging this thing. Is he rigging this thing? Suplex related to it. Terry said, Terry. Thank you, Terry. He says, I like Big Z time. I got nothing to do anyways. Appreciate it, Terry. Thank you for checking in, my man. SMD says, cheating ass. Suplex, now you're under the gun, Suplex. You are under the microscope, Suplex. We got Spa City and Suplex City. I don't know. It seems pretty easy to come up with those 2 names. Hey, that's a good point. If you're paying for 2 memberships, why not? Fair enough. Fair enough. Good stuff, everybody. Appreciate everybody. I thought today's show was a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun on the last several shows on JAKIB Sports. I love doing it and appreciate everybody who gives in their opinions. I remind everybody, I'm not here so that you agree with me. I'm here to just have great sports talk, to talk about the things that matter about the Philadelphia Eagles, to be entertaining to you guys, and to show you love for the support you give the channel. So if you disagreed with my AJ take, find a pile of rocks and kick them. All right? Find a pile of rocks and kick them. It was a stupid comment from AJ Brown. Prince, you were the one who told me not to change it up. But they should have. You're right. They should have multiple entries. Legend members are showing out. But I do have something good for the legend members that are coming. I'm working on something for Terry. I'm working on something for Lucius, and I'm working on something for A-Team. Just got to figure out a way to make it all happen because I don't have unlimited resources, but I'm trying to make as much happen as I can. Appreciate everybody being here today. Hit that like button. There's your winner, everybody. Spa City is the winner of the Saquon Barkley jersey, which is good. He's wearing a Michael Vick jersey in his profile picture. You know, maybe we upgrade him to a Saquon jersey. How about that? We're doing that. SMD wants her a Braden Man jersey. SMD, don't worry. I'll get you it. I'm a little tight right now, and I will make it happen to you. My promise to you is I'll make it happen, SMD. I did promise you that, and I can't wait. I will get it to you, SMD. I promise. I'm not holding off. You have not been hoodwinked and bamboozled, SMD. You never have. Appreciate it. We got a lot of great merch orders, so I can't thank everybody enough for supporting the merch. I mean, that's like one of the best showings of you support what we're doing, right? I mean, and by the way, the merch is not some like money thing. I'm barely the profits are like a couple bucks per item, but when you wear it, you're supporting JAKIB, and it's a huge thank you to me. Well, I'm thanking you, but it's a huge sign of support for me when you want to wear the brand that we created on your merch. It's really dope. And big shout out to Mad Bird who's in here. He had a big merch order. Can't wait to sport the JAKIB gear. Mad Bird, appreciate it, brother. Your order was dope. M. Reyes, I gave the story of Dry Tech. Were you here for that? The story of Dry Tech and why they're with JAKIB. I played ice hockey with the owner of Dry Tech's youngest son, and the guy on the ad, Jason Lombardi, is his older brother. So Kevin Lombardi was who I played with. A lot of fun, man. He's a great hockey player. Plays D1 now for Sacred Heart University. He's a tremendous hockey player. They're great people as well. Flexing, appreciate it, man. As soon as I get my hoodie, I'm wearing it to Acme. Love it. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for the post-game show, or not the post-game show, the post-Birds 365 after hours on Birds 365. I have one thing that I want to, maybe the viewers can help me with this. Maybe not. I'm trying to do something, though, for the great people who drop super chats. So I'm trying to do a weekly giveaway of, it's going to be JAKIB merch. It's going to be a sweatshirt, maybe, a t-shirt and a hat, something like that. A couple items of JAKIB merch. And I want to do it for the super chatters. And every $1 of super chats, I want to be an entry. So for the people who give us big super chats, James Carver, Prince, people that really support, $10 is 10 entries. And then I would do the drawing every Friday night and give away a pack of JAKIB merch to the people who super chat. I think that'd be really cool. Here's my problem with it. I'm trying to find a system that can track like entries. Like I can put your names on there. I guess I'd have to manually entry it. However many, like if you gave $10, I'd have to put you in 10 times. I could use the same system I just used, but I can't do entries for them. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do, if you give $50, 50 entries, boom, entries times 50. I think that'd be pretty cool. YouTube tells me exactly who super chats, so I can go back and look at it after a week. So every week I'd like to do that and give away, something to the people who do super chats as well, because they're a big part of our support as well. Prince says, my bank account said we're more than friends. Oh, that's a good idea, Twiz. Just do the top 3. That'd be a good idea. I could do something like that maybe. Top 3 super chatters get merch. It's not a good idea. You should do people who give memberships too. Polska, I'm definitely doing that. I'm doing that with the Saquon jerseys. I know it's not weekly, so it's not as good. The problem is, Polska, I can't go broke. You know what I mean? YouTube takes 50% of the membership, so I got to make sure I'm staying afloat here. So if I give away, too much stuff, I'm gonna have zero profit. I'm not gonna be able to pay the bills, Polska. So I got to make sure I manage it the right way. But I do like doing stuff for the people who do it. Prince says my bank account said we're more than friends. Hey Prince, I appreciate your support of the channel, man. It means a lot. Chuck said it can be weekly if Saquon goes off, no doubt. Does YouTube provide you a metrics panel for that? They provide me how many people are members, and they provide me obviously views, watch time, all sorts of metrics, obviously, that we use. And they do show me all super chats. No, they do, Brian. That's what pisses me off. They do, man. They take way too much of it. And here's the other caveat that people don't know about. If you do it on an iPhone, which I use, I have an iPhone. If you do a super chat on an iPhone, and Elon Musk talked about this. So for the Elon Musk haters, this is why I like him. He talked about the tax on the internet. So YouTube takes, I think it's 40% of super chats. And then on top of that, Apple takes 30% because you're using an app on their phone, which is just ridiculous. So like I get like 45% of the super chats, which really pisses me off. But at the end of the day, it's still a big support to the channel. They help us a lot. They really do. And when you guys do them, it means a lot to me. So yeah, you're right, Prince. iPhone taxes are crazy. It's bullshit. It's BS. It's ridiculous that they do that. And Elon started calling for it when he bought Twitter, because he realized that all the people who were signing up for Twitter Premium, Apple's taking 30% off the top. It's like, it's a 30% tax on the internet. It's ridiculous. But anyway, appreciate everybody. I'm trying to work on that. So that's what I'd like to do. Something for the super chatters. Maybe we'll do something more for the members. Here's the thing also that I'm going to do for the members, because we have a lot of people who support us all through the summer. There's a lot of people who are here just for the season, which is fine. And they don't like to watch Eagles content through the summer. The people who are here through the summer, I'm going to try and do a ton of stuff for. I'm going to try and do giveaways every week. I'm going to try and do members only things where we can, have these type of conversations. I'm trying to do as much possible as I can. Remember, this is my first year taking over the hosting roles and really managing the channel. I've always managed the channel completely. I own the channel It's my channel. I have all the data and everything. So this is my first time acclimating. I'm only 6 months into doing this thing. And I'm going to continue to add to what we're doing, trying to give back to the people that support us. So I'm really just getting my feet wet, if you will. And once I really get the hang of this thing, I'm going to try and do as much possible for the community as possible. Because we're nothing without you guys. So I appreciate it very much. That's going to do it. Still almost 300 watching me blab. So thank you guys for doing that. Appreciate it. That's going to do it. Big shout out to Spa City, not Suplex City. Sorry. Spa City for coming on and being the winner today. I'm going to reach out to him and he'll have 24 hours to claim his prize. Terry, thank you, man. Ryan says, will Jody Mack ever come back as a guest? I don't know, Jody. I mean, we didn't leave on bad terms with Jody. Ryan, I'm sure he would. Might be a weird dynamic to have him back as a guest, but I'm not opposed to it. I like Jody Mack. He's a good dude, man. He was fun to work with. One of the better dudes that we worked with in the last several years. Oh, boy. Maybe one day we'll get into those stories of the people who we worked with in the last several years. Oh, good. I don't even want to think about that right now. Prince says, we need to reach 50K first, then 100K. I agree, man. I'm trying to build it up, Prince. Doing the best I can right now. I think we're making good progress, though, man. I feel better about JAKIB right now than I ever have in my life. Going back to when we had the big post-game show, going back to when we had content morning, noon, and night. Remember, this is a business. So, James Carver says, how was Seth? He delivered the goods when he was on the air, but boy, was that dude a pain in the balls to work with. He's Seth. Exactly like Seth is on air is what he's like to work with. That's how I'll put it. That's Seth. He's not any different at all. That's Seth. M helping says, Tess, you're in here. I appreciate it. That's going to do it. Prince, I appreciate that. Super. We got to get there, man. We got to get those subscribers up. And we're doing it. We appreciate all of you guys. Thanks, everybody. Hit that like button on your way out. Appreciate all of you guys. Keep grinding, Z. You know it, Flex. That's all I got to do, man. Grinding morning, noon, and night. I love it, though, man. I love what I do. Abe says, amazing job, Zander. Always on top of your game. Thank, bro. Thank you, man. M Halpin trying to change his name. It worked. You're in here. You played football with Billy Muscles. Billy reached out to me yesterday, by the way, I got a bone to pick with Bill, and I'll let him know once he's ready to have the conversation with me. He reached out to me yesterday, said I'm doing a nice job on the show. So I did thank him for that. But I got a bone to pick with Bill. I got a big bone to pick with Bill. And we'll do that at the right moment for sure. Dirty says, you watch auto. I watch F1 sometimes, Dirty. I get busy, man, with all. I'm a big hockey guy. I love watching hockey. I'm a big, I love all American sports. I love baseball. I don't watch baseball 162 games because I'm too committed to doing what I'm doing here to watch that much baseball. But I love the sport of baseball. I love October baseball, and auto racing's good. I mean, I love cars, Dirty Air, so I like racing for that reason. NASCAR can be a little boring at times, but I do love cars. Like I like watching Le Mans and stuff like that. I like the big races like that. They're a lot of fun to watch. Ryan says F1 stinks. Oh, dude, Dirty Air, that's dope. He says, I'm a videographer for NASCAR drivers. I'll hook you up next season. Dirty, that'd be dope, man. I would take you up on that. That would be really cool. Flexing, I know this well. He says, I like watching the rich people at F1. Flexing, I went to an F1 event. I went to the one in Miami. We have a lot of great connections from being in the sports world, people who have tickets. And they got my whole family tickets to one of the first Miami Grand Prix. And we went down, I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2 years ago, maybe. Dude, buying a hat there was like $95. I'm like, are you kidding me? $95 for a hat? Go get your JAKIB hat, everybody. 25 beans. 25 beans for your JAKIB lid, or 95 for an F1 team. Now, I'm a Red Bull guy. I'm a Verstappen guy. I like Max Verstappen. I love his FU attitude. Doesn't care. All the people hate him. But it's a cool sport. Flexen says, yeah, give me the JAKIB one, no doubt. Dirty air. My wife hates all the travel. I'm sure you're traveling a lot, man. Photography for them. Pretty cool. Before I get out of here, I'll take a couple chats on this because, I always like to gauge the viewers and where everybody is. Where is everybody on this football team? On this football team, on the Eagles right now? I mean, you just blow out the Giants. I'm sitting here. John's telling me he wants to bash his head into a wall because I said I think running the ball will help the team. I'm like, really? You want to bash your head in the wall because I said running the ball is going to help the team? Where is everybody on this football team? Do you think we are getting closer to Super Bowl form? Do you think we stink? Like Ryan says, we stink. Is Howie killing the stream? Why? Is the stream not working? Stream should be working stream's working on my end. Mad Bird says, I like that one, improving. I like that. Flexing, I'm still not sold. Chuck, cautiously optimistic. I like that. That's a good phrase right there. I've got 2017 vibes. Dirty, no. Dirty, no. I don't get those vibes at all. Maybe. I don't know. I hope you're right. Look at this comment. David Clear, I'm watching from beginning. I can smell your breath through the phone. Shit is a simple assault. Sometimes you just got to laugh because you guys are hilarious in the chat. David, STFU, bro. STFU. Better week to week. I like that comment. Good stuff. 9-win team. I think they're going to win more than 9. I think they're going to win more than 9. Eduardo checks in. Offense needs to do better in the first quarter. Defense is improving, which is a great thing. Overall, we're not in Super Bowl form. I'd agree with that. Not yet, at least. Maybe they can get there. Right now, the Eagles are building, but still pretenders, not contenders. Good takeaway. Agree with that. Agree with that for sure. M. Reyes, 14-3. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Abe says it's 24 season vibes really at this point. Yeah, Abe, I got to be honest with everybody. I'm not a vibes guy. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, the vibes are good. What does that mean? Vibes. Vibes. What are vibes? Is the football team playing good football? Are they playing like a team? Are they bought into the process? Do they know what their identity is? Do they come into a game and say, you know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to make you stop it. That's what I care about. I don't care about vibes. Abe says it's the feeling in the air. Abe, that sounds like fairy dust bullshit to me, my friend. Fairy dust bullshit. Vibes. I don't do vibes. All right, that's going to do it, everybody. I'm done on the show. I'm done blabbing. I've been blabbing for an hour since John left. Me and John have been combative the last couple of days. Honestly, I love it. I'm having a lot of fun combating with Johnny Mac. I really am, because I don't think he's right on everything. I really don't. I think sometimes he is caught up in too much in what the organization wants to do versus what the right thing to do is. And I think there's a big difference. The organization wants to pass. Why does that make it right? Jalen Hurts is your quarterback. I mean, come on, guys. I have no problem with Jalen Hurts, but like, he's not the prolific thrower of the football. Why is that the setup? Doesn't make sense to me. So I would like to push back on J-Mac at times. J-Mac's happy about BVS and Dean doing something. You're right about that. No doubt about it. All right, that's gonna do it, everybody. Appreciate you all being here for an extra hour, man. Still 250 on you. 250 on here on YouTube. Appreciate that. Matt says Lamar had 17 completions last night. Yeah. By the way, God, Mad, I'm going to be here for another couple minutes now. Where are all the people who told me that Jalen Hurts is a better passer than Lamar Jackson? Where is everybody? Jalen Hurts is not a better passer than Lamar Jackson. That is crazy talk. No, he's not. Lamar Jackson was throwing the ball all over the yard. You see that deep ball he had? I think it was Bateman. I forget who it was who caught the pass. I was working last night. I got the TV over in the corner, so sometimes my glasses aren't even down here. I can't see the TV. I got bad eyes from working on my computers all day. Lamar is far and away better than Jalen Hurts in all aspects of the game. So next time someone says that in the chat, you'll be looking for me to battle back against them, because I do not think Jalen is really anywhere close to Lamar Jackson, to be honest with you. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's got to get through the AFC, but Flexen, imagine Jalen in the AFC. Think about that. Lamar was taken with our draft pick, Brian. You're right. It's brutal. Brutal to think about, but it's true. I think it was the 31st pick and we traded it to him. Is that right? It was right after no, it wasn't after our Super Bowl year, right? When did they draft Lamar Jackson? Has he been in the league that long? Was he the 2018 draft? Let me check. Lamar Jackson. Yeah, 2018 NFL draft. Yeah, that's right. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson were the 5 QBs taken. Baker Mayfield wasn't a number 1 overall, but he's proven to be a solid player. Sam Darnold making a rebound. Josh Allen, elite. Josh Rosen, trash juice. And Lamar Jackson, obviously an elite player as well. Yes, Kimberly. Yes, 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 and yes again. Lamar is a great passer who can also run. And he can't just run, Kimberly. Jalen can run. Lamar is elite in the running game. Elite. Elite. 1 of 1 in the running game, Kimberly. So not just great passer who can run. Great passer, elite runner. Jalen Hurts. Mediocre passer, good runner. Big difference. Big difference. Big difference, everybody. Appreciate it. All right, that's going to do it. Brian, I don't know. Ask him. Appreciate you guys, man, for being here and supporting the channel. Hit that like button. Almost a 3-hour edition of Birds 365. Look at that. Love it, everybody. Hit that like button. Catch you next time, everybody, on Birds 365. Congrats to Spa City on the win.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.